Hello everybody and welcome back to the British Pokemon League show. It's been a little while, hasn't it? It's been a good couple of weeks, but we're back. I'm back, more importantly, the most important thing here. And it is the playoffs special, guys. The thing we've been waiting for all season long is finally here. And I hope you're all going to really enjoy the show today because it's a very, very special one. We've got like a couple of hours worth of Pokemon to get through. Believe me when I say there's plenty of Pokemon left to play. There is not plenty of Pokemon left to play. There is plenty of Pokemon left to watch though. So we will get right into it. And let's take a look at the league table before we get onto the playoffs brackets. So here is the final league table. Of course, sat atop of the foot of the table is Aaron and his inglorious Surface on 10-1, losing out only once all season. Closely followed behind by Miami Heat and Welsh Warriors in second and third place. Then South Croydon Saws and the Bulu Boys in fourth and fifth, with Space City PC, Toronto 6 and Tendel Melmetals rounding out the final playoff spots. Getting it right at the end there, and Crimmick Colossals Newcastle Thunderers finishing off 9th and 10th. They'll be playing in the relegation playoff, which you'll be able to see next week. So keep an eye out for that and see who gets those final two spots in the Premier Division. And sadly, at the bottom there, in 11th and 12th, Dogsy and his Shadow Kings and the Long Island Goomies relegated to the British Pokemon League Championship for next season. So sad to see them go for into season 5, but I'm sure they're going to bounce back with a bang, as Dogsy tends to do. But let's take a quick look at the playoffs bracket going into into this one then. So our first round match go by the Toronto 6 versus Miami Heat. Then we've got the Welsh Warriors taking on the Inglorious Surfers. Tendel Melmetals taking on South Croydon Saws, and Space City PC taking on the Bulu Boys. Of course, this was all drawn at complete random. Normally we would play as a seeded thing, you know, first place 8th, second place 7th, third place 6th, so on and so forth. But we completely randomly did this. It was a random draw. And it's definitely spiced things up a bit. Definitely a bit of a top-heavy top side of the bracket, it must be said. But, you know, this is the British Pokemon League. Absolutely anything can happen. So do not write anyone off. Do not write any team off from making the grand finals. You know, we could see Aaron make it there again, along with South Croydon Saws. South Croydon Saws, they both do love a grand final battle, but, you know, is it time for some new blood? We will certainly see, boys and girls. Anyway, guys, let's get this one kicked off. Let's get into this first matchup then. So, it is the Inglorious Surfers taking on Matrix and his Welsh Warriors. Of course, before playoffs got started, there was a chance for teams to make a singular trade before we got kicked off here. Neither of these teams decided to make a trade, so this is very much the same teams that played each other in the regular season, you know, and obviously Aaron and his Surfers winning out in that one earlier on the season. Swampert proving to be a huge factor in that victory, so I think Aaron will be looking to try and take full advantage of Swampert and his Swift Swim ability with Pelipper. We know Matrix does love to set up that Sun for Heatran, using the prankster ability of Klefki to change around the weather and, you know, set up screens or to swap its item with Switcheroo. But, you know, definitely got to try and play that one smart. If you know, if Aaron's going to be getting that rain up, you've got to try and play around that, because Heatran is not going to enjoy taking any of those water attacks, or not least a ground attack from Swampert. Of course, Swampert with that water ground typing as well. Something we've seen a lot of this season from Aaron is the use of Drapion. This thing has been a bit of a sleeper pick for Aaron. You know, I don't think anyone sort of expected this to be the main deciding factor on his team, and it comes in, and with that, again, just having that one weakness, it makes it just such a troublesome Pokemon to take out. Of course, there is a little bit of, you know, ground type move coverage over on Matrix's side. Of course, Metagross with access to Stomping Tantrum, Aggron and Steelix as well. Steelix, of course, that ground steel typing, giving it some options there to try and take care of the Drapion and potentially something like the Turtonator as well. But Aaron, of course, does have Bronzong with that ability Levitate to switch in if he does decide to bring it, which is going to soak up those grounded type attacks like no tomorrow. Or of course has Crobat as well, which with it being flying type, not going to be affected by those mons. Matrix may look to make use of Empoleon in this one. You know, just expect the weather to go up, because Empoleon's not going to be too affected by Rillaboom here, and there's only really the ground type attacks and Pikachu it's got to take care of. So, you know, it'd be interesting to see that matchup. You know, Matrix may look to try and get the Trick Room set up which we've seen a few times from Matrix, going the opposite way around to what he would usually go with. Kling Klang, that Trick Room setter. So definitely a few options for Matrix to go to try and take out Aaron, but he's going to be looking for a little bit of redemption after losing out the first time round. But guys, I'm going to stop my waffling. Let's get right into this one. Our first matchup of Season 4 playoffs. It is the Inglorious Evers taking on Matrix and his Welsh Warriors. So Aaron with the Swampert, Philippa Turtonator, Pikachu, Hitmonlee, and the Drapion there in that team of 6 Matrix. Kicking things off with the Kling Klang and Togedemaru with Empoleon, Klefki, Skarmory, and Aegislash. So no Heatran, no Metagross, more importantly, in that team, and no Steelix or Aggron. So definitely an interesting team of 6 for Matrix. It does look to be he's going for the Trick Room route. It's got Togedemaru there, which has access to the Fake Out. Hitmonlee as well, so on Aaron's side with access to that Fake Out. And of course, a very strong physical attacker is Hitmonlee. So a strong physical attacker and special attacker on that side. Turtonator, of course, could go along the lines of a Shell Smash or even Shell Trap, hit both sides. And we're going to be looking to take Togedemaru down to either to steady or down to its Sash at the very least. Kling Klang, as you said, would expect to be going for the trigger and goes for the protect though. Sees the Fake Out potential coming. Togedemaru with the Stoop Fang, and Hitmonlee not going for the Fake Out, just going straight on the attack, and Heat Wave comes out. That's going to take Togedemaru down to its steady. He's taking some big damage early doors. Turtonator hitting with that Heat Wave more importantly as well. Heat Wave is an accuracy move, and it is Aaron, so you would expect it to hit with his RNG, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. So Fake Out has been burned up by, that opportunity for Fake Out has been burned up, and Empoleon's going to switch and keep that Togedemaru alive. The Blaze Kick misses the Kling Klang though, more importantly. Kling Klang no Trick Room that goes for the Giga Impact, but not enough to take out the Hitmonlee, and Heat Wave gets some big damage off into Kling Klang, and Empoleon managing to soak up that damage all with its water typing, giving it a good chance of survival. But that Heat Wave still did quite a bit, 30% damage, and Kling Klang now useless for a 10. It's got a recharge. So all he can really hope for is a double miss here, maybe keep that Kling Klang kicking around. It's the risk you take with Giga Impact. If you get the kill with it, it's been very useful. But if not, you've got a sitting duck, and there goes a close combat. Down goes Empoleon. Aaron gets the first blood in this one. Hitmonlee has got the eject box, so it's going to allow it to switch out. So smart stuff there from Aaron. Brings in the Swampert. Kling Klang, as you said, just got a recharge and goes to the body press to Turtonator, and down goes Kling Klang. That's an early lead for Aaron and his surfers, and this is looking very strong for him in this game one. Aegislash with full HP, of course, but Togedemaru looking pretty low. As I said, Togedemaru does have access to that Fake Out, so at least might be able to buffer one of them. Turtonator with that spread move possibility there. Means Aegislash is not safe, because could go for the King's Shield, try and keep it around one more time, but Aegislash is going to be quite slow on the field here. Aaron just surveying his options, making a very strong start to playoffs as per usual. The Custap Berry comes out from Togedemaru, so it's going to give that priority. Swampert going for the protect, goes for the Zing Zap, but into Turtonator it's not going to really do too much. Out comes Aegislash to go for the Solar Blade, but Aaron now can, he knows where slot that's going into. He can just safely switch in to that one and just keep Swampert alive. And there it is. Hitmonlee switches in. Out comes the after users. Allow the Solar Blade to go first. So a cool tech there on the Togedemaru, but not quite enough. Heat Wave is going to miss on the Aegislash, but down goes Togedemaru, and it is now a 3v1 as Swampert switches back in. Aegislash can now go for its King's Shield, try and drop the attack of the Swampert, but this is going to be game one. Not really going to matter too much in the grand scheme of things. That Swampert's going to be much faster and much stronger. Does get the attack drop. Turtonator there. It's just enough to... It's going to have just enough about it to do the damage, I think, unless he gets the miss. There is the Head Smash. It does move for Turtonator, and Turtonator does go down. Does take some recoil damage from that, and in comes the Pelipper though. And this is going to be curtains for game number one then. King's Shield's going to come out, just delaying the inevitable here. Of course, Pelipper not going to take any damage from that Earthquake with its flying type. Does go for the Hydro Pump. Not something that Aaron misses too often. And there is the Earthquake. Aegislash goes down to get the critical hit to boot, and Aaron takes game number one then. Matrix going to have to try something a bit different to bring this one back. I said, does have that Trick Room potential, or could even go for the Tailwind on Skarmory. Is another way he could go, or as we've seen Klefki, a few hours switcheroo, but he's got the Balloon this time, so no Iron Ball, no Lagging Tail on that Klefki, so Balloon just to keep itself alive avoid those ground type attacks. Of course, as soon as that balloon pops, Klefki is looking in a bit of a pickle. Aaron leading the line with the Swampert Tbpl duo though. The Swift Swim going to be activated by that rain once it goes just Mega. Reflect comes out from the Klefki as a smash up that goes to the brick break. Aaron making a great read there. Iron Defense comes out from the Scammer. He gets that 2 times defense, and Tbpl gets the speed control up just to make sure in case that rain does go down. Thunderwave comes out from the Klefki, so that's going to affect the Tbpl. Liquidation not doing too much thanks to the 2-tap. Oh, the Hydro Pump misses though. Oh gosh. Aaron has not missed a single Hydro Pump all season, and there it is, the worst time to miss it in the middle of playoffs. It's not where you want your RNG luck to start taking a turn. You know, we said stranger things have happened, and this is where it is. You know, talk about the upside down. Aaron is definitely in the upside down now. If this doesn't go to plan, goes for the reflect, so that's going to not do as much damage. The Swampert goes down to that body press in the Scammery. Tbpl going to be paralysed and not going to get to move this time. And in comes the Hitmonlee then. So not an ideal start there from Aaron. Matrix was definitely with the advantage thus far. That Thunder Wave proving to be pretty huge. Limber is on the Hitmonlee though, so it's not going to take the paralysis to hit there. Close combat is going to drop Hitmonlee's defense, which will allow the eject pack to go off, and in comes the drop beyond. Brave Bird are going to do some big damage to drop beyond. Scammery is going to take them, and the Hydro Pump misses again. So many opportunities for Scammery to have gone down now, but Tbpl has just missed them both, and Scammery lives to fight another day and potentially get another Brave Bird or body press off. You know, maybe want to stay away from Brave Bird. You know, with that being on low HP as Aegislash going to switch in, knock off. Scammery's just about hanging on. Goes again for the Brave Birds. It's going to just sack the Scammery off to get some big damage to drop me on with the Hydro Pump. It's missed for a third time. What is going on? You know, Aaron never misses. What is this? Is this really him? Is this Aaron? Is someone else playing for him? What's going on? Empoleon's going to switch in now. Drop Beyond on some pretty low HP. This is looking very, very strong here for Matrix. But never count out Aaron, could still turn this around. Goes for the Snarl, does drop, going to drop the special attack on Empoleon, but just, it's a very risky move, you know, just in case it was Defiant. A Skull's going to take care of the drop in now with a 3v2 match. There's a head smash, so down goes Tbpl, just that's going to take a big amount of recall damage there, but this one is for Matrix, is for the taking. Hitmonlee with it all to do now, and you know, it might be able to take one of them here, but I don't think it's going to be enough to take the game. And Klefki typically runs a Dazzling Gleam, which would be enough to take out the Hitmonlee. Not sure whether Reflect would be able to save Empoleon from a close combat, but it'd be interesting to see. There's the Shadow Sneak from Aegislash, does go for the CC. Empoleon does tank the hit. Down goes the defense's Hydro Cannon, misses though on the Empoleon. It's a game of misses this one, and this is going to be the game tied up. Aegislash takes the KO. And Matrix takes us to a game 3. Are we about to see Aaron drop to the losers bracket? Our 2-times champion. Early days. Is Matrix about to dump him in a losers bracket? Let's see as he leads off with the Aegislash and Klefki. Aaron going back to the Hitmonlee and Terminator lead. Definitely going a bit differently than the last time these two played. Matrix will be happy to have took a game thus far, but I want to take it that one step further. Hitmonlee may well just chance the Blaze kick here on one of these two. Just go straight on the offensive, but got to be careful in case that Aegislash goes to the King Shield. Don't want to get the attack drop early does. There is the King Shield from Aegislash. Reflect goes up from the Klefki and goes for the CC. Gets some good damage into Klefki and still allow the Hitmonlee to swap back out thanks to the jetpack. Pops the balloon, more importantly. Now in comes the Swampert. Iron Defense comes out from the Terminator, so going a different route with the Terminator and allow it to go for those body presses. Of course, a lot of Matrix's team weak to fighting type, so very, very strong stuff there from Aaron. You know, it's probably only these two sat in front of him, and of course Scammery that are not going to really be too phased by the fighting type attacks, but Terminator, of course, does have Heat Wave on there all the same. Reflect gone up as well. So Swampet's physical attack's not going to be doing quite as much. Goes for the mega as you expect. Thunderwave goes into the Terminator. There is the Brick Breakers who's going to break the screen on the Kufki. Gets some good damage away there. And goes for the Head Smash Terminator though, tanking that thanks to the body press. And the Heat Wave is going to take out Aegislash and Klefki. And this is a great start here from Aaron, taking an early 4-2 lead as in comes Empoleon and Skarmory. In a bit of a pickle now. Matrix has got it all to do that Terminator with a big amount of defense stats. You know, Skarmory is physical. It's got to go all out with the Empoleon into that Terminator, I would think. There is the Earthquake from Swampert, potentially risking his own time. He's got the Sugar Berry. So does the Empoleon. Empoleon not going to take as much damage. Iron Defense comes out from the Skarmory as you expect. And there is the Scald. That's going to get rid of Terminator. And Matrix does get one on the board. So I was going to say in comes the Pella, but he's going to allow it to set up that range. Swampert's going to get full advantage of that Swift Swim. And now can just start either slapping on Earthquakes. And there it is. Does go for the EQ. That's going to take out Empoleon now. Skarmory with it all to do in the 1v3. Goes to the Brave Bird. Pelipper's not going to be too phased by that. Does hit the Hydro Pump this time. Skarmory just about hanging on. And this is going to be game 3 to Aaron. Aaron going to knock Matrix down into the losers bracket. And Aaron moves on to winners semi-final. So are we about to see the God tier run from Aaron again? Straight from round 1 all the way to the grand finals again. It's looking very strong for that to be on the table. There is the liquidation. That gets the job done. Aaron takes this one 2-1. And what a start by our 2-time champion. Knocking Matrix down to the losers bracket. And yeah, making as strong a start as he would have hoped to there. So Aaron will move on and we'll find out his next opponent. Coming up next, we have got the Toronto 6 taking on Miami Heat. Jay and Toronto 6, of course, were 1-4 at one point this season when Jay took over from Draco, and he's managed to fully turn the season around and squeeze into playoffs. But he's got one hell of an opponent to take on in round 1 in Latvian, and his Miami Heat, of course, getting second place. These two battled just a couple of weeks before the season ended, and Latvian taking that one in a 2-0 fashion. So strong stuff from Lat. You know, Jay knows and understands how strong of an opponent Latvian is. Is going to have to do a lot to get around him. Jay has indeed made a trade. He's dropped the Airshifoo Rapid Strike for Regieleki. Not Regieleki, a mon we've not seen for a couple of seasons here in Tbpl, but be interesting to how we can take full advantage of that. You know, it's got access to Electro Web, so we're going to be trying to slow a few things down. But, you know, is that going to work in his favour? You know, we know Jay likes to go for that Trick Room with the Indeedee Female, Follow Me, and Hatterini. And bring out the likes of the Copper Raja and Shinotic and things like that. So that could be the route he decides to take. Of course, you know, Lat on the other side does have Trick Room of his own and Lipad. And of course, Articuno Galar with both sets of speed control. You know, that's something he's brought in recent weeks. So I think Lat has been trying to switch it up as of recent. So it's very difficult to call kind of the route he's going to go with. But, you know, I think try and take full advantage of that Psychic Terrain being up is typically what he tends to do when that Psychic Terrain or any kind of terrain goes up. You'll see Latvian adopt a move that takes advantage of that. I would think that, you know, the Airshifoo is going to be very, very strong here. You know, there's only really the Hatterene and Indeedee where it's not going to be feeling comfortable. But, you know, with the Sash, it just gives it that little bit extra, you know, safety blanket, allowing to either switch it in or keep it around. And those Wicked Blows, of course, those critical hits, always critical hit move, are always important. And of course, how can you forget about Typhlosion? You know, if nothing else, if you can catch your opponent off guard and go with the wrong lead, as we saw, you know, against Big Dog Dave and against Dr. Dave, you know, when he faced them off with Typhlosion, he just caught them off with the wrong lead, and that thing just started erupting all over their faces and making one hell of a mess. So definitely something that's going to be in the back of Jay's mind. Something you're going to want to fake out if you've got the, you know, if you're leading the Hitmon top or something, because, you know, you Follow Me and Indeedee's not going to matter too much in the grand scheme of things where that is concerned. But with Lat, it's always difficult to call what he's going to go for. You know, you really think you know what Lat's going to do, and then he just throws you through a loop and you get something completely different. But that is why we love him. Anyway, guys, let's get in this one then. It is the Miami Heat taking on Toronto 6 in our second match of the playoffs in Latvian. We does have the Aarontmarshall in the 6. We've got the Mr. Mime and Geraldon with Typhlosion seeking Shifu in the back. So Geraldon, as you would expect, going to ignore those follow me's of Ndidi with that stalwart ability. Jay kicking things off with the Regieleki, and Ndidi has got the Gallade, which is of course his Mega, Nidoking, Meowstic and Hitmontop in the back. So no Hatterene. So it doesn't look to be that he's going along the Trick Room route. Geraldon is going to be in a very, very strong position. He's going to resist both types on the opposite side, so it can either go along the lines of a Snarl or just go straight on the offensive with a Flash Cannon or a Draco Meteor or something to try and get something down straight where you'd expect that Regieleki to God's sake, Hannah. You'd expect the Regieleki to be having that focus sash on it before it goes down. It's going to want to get that Electro Web off, drop the speeds on the other side. Not that Mr. Mime and Geraldon are particularly fast Pokemon anyway, but just to maybe cover off that switching. Something he does need to be careful of course, Lightning Rod is on that Seeking. Switching into that, it's going to sponge up that damage, even though it's a spread move, so it's going to damage the Mon next to it. It's going to allow the Seeking to get that special attack boost. It's indeed just going to go on the offensive with the Expanding Force here. Both opponents taking the time to decide what they want to do here. Psychic Terrain being up because Mr. Mime does also get Expanding Force, so I'm not sure where. Well, I would imagine Jay will not be aware of that, but is he going to be able to go first? Mr. Mime just bending his little knees. I wish I could bend my knees like that. I'm too old. Too old and decrepit. Just the old and decrepit Pokemon host of the Pokemon community. Said Jay would be wise to not go for the follow me option here. Said with Geraldon having that stalwart ability. Oh God. I'm just gonna have to not look at chat for a little while. And one opponent just they're really trying to sort of psych each other out though. There a bit of mind games going on here, taking their time to pick what move choices they want to go for. Don't want to reveal anything too early. Of course, with that Psychic Terrain being up, the Mr. Mime can't go for the fake out, which is maybe the sort of the way he was wanting to go with it. Such a strong Pokemon is Mr. Mime. Strong support Pokemon is really going to allow Geraldon to put in the work this early game though. I'm not sure if maybe Latvian had a little bit of a disconnect here, which is why it was taking so long to take this turn number 1. Do apologise, guys. A little bit of a screen freeze there. We'll get back into the action just as soon as possible. And Regieleki has gone for the Volt Switch into the Geraldon, so that's going to allow Regieleki to switch back out, preserve it for later to allow those Electro Webs and that Electric type damage to come off. As I said, you would expect that to be the Sash. And Geraldon takes a little bit of a hit on that. Of course, Geraldon is going to resist those Electric type attacks, so not mattering too much. In comes the Gallade, says indeed he goes to the tricks. It's going to get the Choice Scarf off the Mr. Mime, so it does find out some useful information now. Indeed he is locked in that trick move. Unfortunately, this now is going to activate the Justified on Gallade. But both Indeedee and Gallade taking a huge hit there from the Expanding Force from the Mr. Mime. So it does have the Expanding Force on there. So it looks to be a fast damaging set on that Mr. Mime from Latvian. So I said we said beforehand he's going to take advantage of that terrain being up in some way, or shape or form. Geraldon indeed going for the Snarl, so it's going to mean that Indeedee's Expanding Forces aren't going to be doing as much because Gallade is that physical attacker. You expect Jay to go for the Mega. And that Mega Gallade does have a pretty spicy attack stat already, and with that attack boost, it's going to be play right into Jay's hand, so definitely something Latvian's got to be careful. Of course, Galed is that fighting and psychic type. Thank you, Dogsy. I have hydrated. Still on turn number 2. Vault switch players. It's good to know. Good information for both sides, really, that turn number 1. You know, Jay's found out what item is on the Mr. Mime. Latvians found that the Regieleki has Vault switch, as you would expect. Yeah, literally 10 on timer. There is expanding force again. It's going to take out both Galed and indeed Mr. Mime putting in the work. And Latvian with the 4v2 now. And no, Nidoking is not what you'll have wanted to see. If you would, well, it's what you want to see if you're Lat, not so much if you're Jays. In comes the Regieleki now. Regieleki going to be able to get some good damage off here before it goes off. Protect coming out from that Nidoking. So Regieleki's going to go for the Electro Web, but not really doing much. It's going to at least drop the speeds. Expanding Force going to come out. That's going to drop Regieleki down to its Sash, and you would think a Snarls if it lands. It does, and down goes Regieleki, and now it's all up to Nidoking, and this Mr. Mime has just put in the work in this turn, in this game number 1, sorry. And, you know, we've seen it, Latvian make full use of it as a support man all season, but this thing, what a beast it's been in this game. One's high horsepower is going to take out the Duraludon, but Expanding Force gets the job done. Down goes Nidoking, and Latvian is going to take the lead in this game number 1. And straight into game number 2 we go, and it is Mr. Mime and Duraludon leading against Latvian. Sticking with what he knows, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Jay completely flipping things up and goes for the Galed and Meowstic then. So Meowstic with that Prankster ability. I'm not too sure whether Meowstic has beat up or not, but could be an option if it does, you know, activate that Justified a couple of times, get that Galed, get that huge attack boost, and just start going ham. Of course, Jay does know that there is a Choice Scarf waiting on that Mr. Mime, and Duraludon can kind of freely just keep hitting Snarls if any special attackers come in, but it's got to try and go for damage to take out this Galed here. You know, close combat from that Mega Galed is going to hit Duraludon pretty hard in the face. Jay has, you know, we've not really seen Jay using the Galed a whole lot since he picked it up in the mid-season. So it's nice to see him bringing it out in playoffs, and do love that Mega Galed. And I said if you can activate Justified on it, and it, you know, it's as long as it's going to be moving first, you can really just start just knocking things flying. It does go straight for the Mega. It goes the Fake Out in the Meowstic because that's smart stuff there. And out comes the Draco Meteor. Like, it's a big damage onto the Galed. It's going to drop this pressure attack on Duraludon. Drain Punch, though, is going to get Galed a huge amount of HP back. Down goes the Duraludon. And that's, again, smart move choice there for Jay. Not only getting that HP back, but, you know, super effective move on the Duraludon, more importantly. But in comes the Typhlosion. And this is where it can get scary. That Typhlosion with that Eruption. And, you know, it's not obviously not going to be Choice Scarf. We know the Choice Scarf's on the Mr. Mime now, so I would think Latvian's probably just confident that this thing's going to be faster than both here. Follow Me comes out there. Out comes the Thunder Wave. That's going to paralyze the Mr. Mime there. As the Eruption takes care of the Galed. Does get a critical hit. Meowstic takes a huge hit, and down goes the Mega. And that's a great start there from Latvian, just bringing us back to 3v3. I thought I had it here. I couldn't remember. I do apologise. In comes the Regieleki then, so it could well be Scarf on Typhlosion. That's my mistake. I thought that would have went for the Follow Me. I was like, that's definitely not Scarf now. In comes the Regieleki, of course. It's going to be, I would think, faster than Typhlosion, even with the Scarf. It would be very interesting to see here whether it's going to go first. Either way, Regieleki is going to get some kind of damage off because of the Sash. needs to get some sort of damage off onto Typhlosion just to stop those eruptions from doing as much damage. And we'll be hoping that a paralysis goes off and it switches out into the Seeking, helping handling him out from the Meowstic. Electro Balls, that's a great switch in there from that Great Reads. It goes to Eruption again, it's to take out Meowstic. Lecky's going to go down to its Sash then. And in comes the Indeedee to bring up that terrain. But this is not a good spot for Jay to be in. It's going to have to go for the Electro Web here just to get that spread move off. But I think an Eruption here is going to do the deed. And this is not looking very strong for Jay. We're about to see Jay drop into the losers bracket and allow Latvian to move on. And that's going to set up a very famous and very exciting winners semi-final match with the man himself, Aarontmarshall, and his Inglorious Surfers. There is the Electro Webs, just going to allow the special attack boost to go off on the Seeking. Get some good damage away to the Typhlosion. Typhlosion takes a big there, gets the Flamethrower onto the Typhlosion. It's not Scarf. Typhlosion here, the Icy Wind is going to get rid of the Indeedee. I mean, the Regieleki, and Indeedee taking a bit of chunk damage there and a speed drop to boot. And this is looking very, very strong for Latvian. He's put in the work this game number 1 and game number 2. Expanding Force though is going to get rid of Seeking and the Typhlosion. And maybe it isn't all over. You know, I thought it was that was going to be what the fat lady sings, but you know, Jay proving me wrong. So it is all up to Mr. Mime then. A speed drop on Indeedee is going to prove pretty important here, all the same. I was going to say Latvian just picking what money he wants to bring in, but he does only have the one left, so not like he needs to think very hard about what he's going to pick. Yeah, Parrot Mime to boot. Jay will be hoping that paralysis procs. That's his way into this game. That's his win condition. I always think it's scary relying on RNG for a win con though. Hey, look, the Mr. Mime doesn't look very powered. Does get the Expanding Force off. There is the Expanding Force back, and indeed he goes down, and there is the 2-0 and confirmation that Latvian does take that one indeed. So, great start there from Latvian. Starting back into the British Premier League, the first time he's been a part of playoffs for 2 seasons now, since season 2. You know, when he was knocked down into losers bracket and knocked out first, you know, at the first hurdle by 200 Candy. So, he'll be very happy with that start for sure. On to our next game though then. It is the Tendor Melmetals taking on the South Croydon Saws. So last time these two played each other very, very early on in the season, and Kirky actually got the win over Chris and his South Croydon Saws. The South Croydon Saws team has changed quite a lot since then. You know, made a good amount of trades during the mid-season free agency, and you know, I think it's really just unlocked his team. And as you may see there, he's also picked up the Electivire from the relegated Shadow Kings, you know, which is going to give him that follow me option on that team as well, which, you know, just gives him that extra bit of comfort over, you know, comfort blanket for the things like the Cresselia, for your Gudra, for your Tbpl, you know, the big sweepers on that South Croydon Saws team. You know, last time these two played, it was very much a centric team around, you know, Galar Moltres and things like that, and Kirky just able to play very smartly around it. Drop those special attacks and just slowly but surely just whittle away on that team. Of course, Kirky has also made a trade of his own, has picked up the Donphan in place of Electros, and you know, Donphan with that very strong physical attack. You know, it's a very, very good pickup for him. You know, I don't think he brought Electros very much all season, and just giving him that ground type coverage as well on the team. You know, stab type ground moves is going to be very important. Of course, you know, something he's probably taken in consideration seeing Chris picking up the Electivire. Of course, I would hope that's not the only reason he's made the trade to all his playoffs. Is a marathon, not a sprint. So, but all the same, Kirky's a very smart player. So it'll be interesting to see how he can unlock that Donphan. I think very much here is going to be about, you know, stopping the Cresselia, stopping the Gudra on that South Croydon Saws side, but you know, can't sleep on that Harlucha. You know, that Harlucha with the Unburden ability. Once it loses that berry, which is typically the grassy seed, you know, paired next to that Tbpl is going to get speed doubled. And, you know, I would think close combat into the likes of Lucario, Ambipom, Ferroseed and Kecleon and things like that. They're not going to enjoy it, and you do tend to see Keki bringing that similar 6. You hope he's going to switch it up into playoffs here, but that 6 has been strong for him all season. It's been interesting to see him switch it up every now and again. You'll see him bring just an odd 5th or 6th, out of something like the Jellicent, Barbacle, Kecleon. We've seen Vivillon a few times as well. Something we've not seen any of Ferroseed, so it'd be interesting to see if he brings it at all during playoffs. But yeah, it pretty much is the typical Lucario. He's got Arcanine, Latios, Ambipom, plus 1 extra on Keki's side. So taking that in consideration, Chris, I think, will be hard prepping some fighting type moves said on the likes of the Hawlucha, and Tapu Bulu as well. I think Tapu Bulu, of course, does get close combat and high horsepower, which is going to be really great into the likes of the Arcanine, and Lucario, of course, is going to resist any attacks from Whimsicott as well, and going to have stab type moves into that Jellicent should it come. So Chris in a very strong position here, but all the same, both teams very, very strong, both players very, very strong, and with a lot of play for Chris is going to be trying to go one better than the last few seasons. Has been runner-up twice in a row. Will be looking to try and take that next step and get the winner's crown. Keki be trying to, end his debut season on a high. But guys, let's get into this one. It is the South Croydon Stars taking on the Tendo Melmetters, and so Crizzle leading off with the Bulu and the Hawlucha, as you would expect, with the Mudsdale, Cresselia, Comfort, and the Milotic in the back. Keki, as we expected, has got the Lucario and Whimsicott as a lead, with the Latios, the Arcanine, Jellicent, and Ambipom in the back. Then Ambipom ready to tickle and touch inappropriately if needs be. So Unbend's going to proc on that Hawlucha early does. Keki's going to be very conscious of the fighting type prowess on that side where Lucario is concerned. The Mega Lucario he tends to bring is going to obviously be faster than the Bulu, but not faster than the Hawlucha. So you would think Keki's going to try and maybe go for a protect here. Just keep that Lucario safe, or go for a switch out. Let Whimsicott go and get that Prankster Tailwind up. Arcanine going to switch in, going to drop the attack on the Hawlucha and the Bulus. That's massive there. In comes the CC. Arcanine's going to tank that, and Bulus going to get his defense drops. Moonblast is going to get rid of the Hawlucha though early does, and that's a great start there for Tendo Melmetters. And Keki starting off how they've wanted to there. It's a great start. Switching at the Arcanine, very, very smart. Dropping the attack on that Bulu, more importantly, and now in comes the Cresselia, and this is where it can get a bit scary. You would hope that Keki is running a Taunt or Encore on that Whimsicott just to sort of lock that Cresselia in so you can just ignore it for a few turns. You would think maybe Chris is going to look to maybe switch out that Bulu, or at least protect it this time. And he does. He switches into the Comfort. Out comes the Tailwind from the Whimsicott, so he matches the Tailwind. Flare Blitz is going to do some big damage into Comfort, but it's going to allow the Arcanine to get a bit of recall damage. And Cresselia goes for the skill swap then. So the Cresselia now has the Prankster ability of Whimsicott with Levitate. Not that it really needed to levitate. It's already pretty much floating, but there you go. Pokemon logic, am I right? But more importantly, that Cresselia now is going to be able to go for Prankster, Calm Minds and things like that, and Moonlight, just allow it to heal up. And Comfort, of course, with that floral healing, thanks to Triage ability, going to be very big next to the Cresselia, keeping it alive for a couple of times. It may look to try and stall out Keki's Tailwind. Protect does come out from the Comfort, trying to preserve it, and goes for the Calm Mind on the Lunala. There is the Encore on the Whimsicott, but the Lunala, I keep calling it Lunala. Cresselia does have a mental herb, so it's going to allow it to shake off that Encore and go again. But of course, you're now kind of you're locked in. If you go for it again, the Whimsicott's just going to Encore you again. You've got to go for a damaging move now. That is the only risk here. If he was able to take out Whimsicott in that same turn, it maybe wouldn't have been so bad, but now Cresselia in a little bit of a spot. However, Chris may see it that he can't really do too much damage to the Cresselia, so it might just sort of let it to just keep going for them there. As he Flare Blitz again, in Cresselia's Arcanine's taking that recall damage, goes for the Calm Mind again. and now is on card into said Calm Mind. So Cresselia going to be buffing its special attack and special defense up quite quite a lot now. It's bulking up big. Protect coming out of cover, just trying to keep it around. There's the Calm Mind again. Moonblast into that converse. Looks like he goes for the snarl into the into Cresselia, well, into both slots. It does manage to hit, so it's going to drop that Cresselia special attack down a bit, but it's getting stronger and stronger. Both tailwinds now ended, so Chris going to be hoping he can take care of that Whimsicott now, just to allow that Cresselia to start putting in the work. I tell you what, why I keep calling it Lunala, because Chris has named the bloody thing Luna. God damn it, Crizzle. And the Whimsicott just switch out, in comes the Jellicent, and so that's a very strange switch out, because you'd think he could just keep it encoring him really and just, let him ignore it, as the Flare Blitz is going to take out the Comfort, and now is a 2v4 then. Encore going to end. And in comes the Tapu Bulu, going to set up that grassy terrain, so going to mean either one's taking a little bit of damage, going to get some of that HP back. I would think that Kirky's going to probably try and switch out that Jellicent now. He's not going to trust it to take a Horn Leech from Tapu Bulu. He's going to, with that Grassy Terrain boost, he's going to be doing some big damage. Of course, no Intimidate on out there. Is the Horn Leech. Jellicent just manages to hang on. There's a Snarl from the Arcanine. So it's going to drop that special attack down a bit. There's Stored Power, gets rid of Arcanine, and this is what he was waiting for with the Cresselia. Cresselia going to get that speed drop as well as Bulu thanks to the Icy Wind on Jellicent. Jellicent managing to bulk out that Horn Leech like it's something you've never seen. And now in switches in Lucario. But again, very scary situation. He's got to get rid of that Cresselia ideally, but that thing has bulked up so much now. He is going to be faster than the Bulu, so may prioritise the Bulu just for now. Because Bulu with that close combat, it's going to hit that Lucario where it hurts. And I don't see that thing living an attack from Bulu. Very interesting switch out there from Kirky. I really would have thought he would have kept the Whimsicott around just for a couple of extra turns, is just to lock in that Lunala. Cresselia. I'm going to keep doing that. No, I think Lucario would be in a comfortable position to at least take whatever's next to it out. There's a bit of a screen freeze there. I do apologise, guys. Chris definitely not down and out. Lucario goes for its Mega. There is the Crunch, it's just not doing anywhere near enough. There's a Horn Leech into Lucario. A bit of a strange one there. The Shadow Ball into the Cresselia. It's just doing nothing. And Stored Power going to get rid of Lucario. And now this is looking like it's turning right around for Chris. And Kirky in one hell of a pickle now. He's got nothing now really apart from Shadow Ball on the Jellicent to take care of Cresselia. There's the Moonblast into Bulu, just not doing enough. Horn Leech going to get rid of that Jellicent. Bulu's going to get that HP right back, and there's the Stored Power into Whimsicott, and Crizzle is going to take this game number 1 then. Into game number 2 we go then. A little bit of a screen freeze there again, guys. I do apologise. I'm not too sure why that keeps happening, but we'll get right in this one. Is the Ambipom Lucario lead this time, so Kirky going with that fake out pressure instead this time, knowing that the Hawlucha is likely to go for a Tailwind, and Crizzle just again sticking with what he knows and what works, goes for the Tapu Bulu and Hawlucha lead. Hawlucha getting that Unburden procced by the Grassy Seed going off, with the Grassy Terrain going up. Again, a bit of a risky lead for Kirky. Yes, he's got that fake out pressure there, but both Mons here got super effective attacks against Lucario and against Ambipom. So could be a case of high risk, high reward. May choose to just switch out. I think you would just see a switch out into Arcanine here, just a hard switch. So Chris may look to try and read that. You know, if he can hit a high horsepower off with that Tapu Bulu, if it doesn't get fake outed into the Lucario slot, it covers off for that switching. So that's maybe an idea for Crizzle to go down. There it is. There's a switch. I'm going to drop the attack on both Bulu and the Hawlucha fake out. Going to be blocked by that quick guard. There's the close combat, so it doesn't make the read, but still, all the same, it's going to get that damage off. Going to drop its defensive stats though because of that. So you would think you'll see Crizzle go for that switch out now. So smart stuff there. If he just high horsepower, that could have been a really insane read there. You know, either way, he gets a super effective attack off on either the Lucario or incoming Arcanine. Of course, it could have been an unfortunate one if he brought Latios in the back instead, then, you know. But this is the gameplay. In comes Mudsdale, then switch out Protect, comes out from the Ambipom. Close combat, going to get blocked by that Protect. And the play rough though on the Arcanine's going to miss. That could be huge. Play rough, that 90% accurate move. Just the RNG just not going the way of Kirky again. And Hawlucha then lives to fight another day. And Mudsdale in a great spot now. Go for those high horsepowers into Arcanine or, you know, a heavy slam. There's a close combat. Ambipom. Oh, Ambipom just about hangs on. You'd think if there wasn't a attack drop, Ambipom was gone there. Double hit. Is it going to take out the Hawlucha? Not quite, but player off there is going to get the job done. It does hit this time. And down goes a Hawlucha. High horsepower though is going to get rid of Arcanine, so it does trade it off. And is a 3v3. Ambipom just about hanging on with its big naughty fingers. Thank you, Hannah. And in comes the Cresselia then. So are we going to see Cresselia just go for straight on the, you know, for the Calm Minds? Knowing that Whimsicott's got the Encore. Oh, cheers for the sub, Dave, as well. Appreciate it, man. 18 months. It's a year and a half, man. Knockoff comes out from the Ambipom, so it's going to knock off the Mental Herb, so it's going to allow it to go for the Encore, but Moonblast into the Mudsdale. It's going to allow the Stamina to go off, and Prankster goes off with that switch. Sash is going to be revealed on the Whimsicott, just about hanging on there. So Cresselia now with that Prankster ability goes for the Calm Mind. Can Whimsicott just go hit back with the Encore? There's a double hit. Let's get some big damage off into Cresselia. And there's the Encore. Is it Encore to the wrong Mondo? Surely is that's a big mistake. And Mudsdale now going to happily take out the Whimsicott. And now is a 2v3. Ambipom and Lucario with it all to do. Knowing that Tapu Bulu's there in the back as well, you can't be confident if you're Kirky. Moonlight's going to allow Cresselia just to heal right back up. Double hit's going to still do some big damage. There is the crunch into the Cresselia. Ambipom is going to get rid of by the Mudsdale. And now Lucario with it all to do. Tapu Bulu then switches in. Gets that grassy terrain up. Bullet Punch though, that's not going to quite do enough. Goes that Moonlight just to heal right back up, and now Bulu's got a free hit into this Lucario. Is going to be able to close combat and end this one here. Knock Kirky down to the losers bracket then, and Crizzle going to move on to the winners semi-finals. Bullet Punch, oh, not quite doing enough. There's a CC, gets rid of Lucario, and Crizzle does indeed knock Tendo Melmetals and Kirky down to the losers bracket then. So good plays there on both ends, but Crizzle just getting the better of him in the end And just Cresselia just proven to be too strong. So GG's to both players, and Kirky unfortunately dropping down that losers bracket, but Crizzle now up to the winners semi-finals, and this is very dangerous territory for Crizzle because this is usually where he gets to before dropping down to the losers bracket. So you know, you want to think he's going to break the duck here, but it would be very interesting to see. It's going to depend on who his opponent is, which we're going to find out right now, as it's going to be our last round 1 game of the Bully Boys taking on Space City PC. Of course, Bully Boys, myself against Meme-Based God and his Space City PC. Both teams here making that one playoffs trade. Bully Boys picking up Aerodactyl in the place of Jirachi, and Space City PC dropping down BHM and picking up Rotom then. So Rotom, the basic Rotom is, of course, the faster variant, does have lower defenses, but still has access to the likes of the screens and things. So, you know, still makes it quite a decent opponent. Of course, we've seen Aerodactyl on that California Bastions team in the championship a few times. We know how strong that can be with a Tailwind, and, you know, those rock type and flying type, stab type attacks. And of course, it is another mega option on that Bully Boys side. You would think be trying to potentially bring that as a cover off for that Charizard. You know, Charizard with that 4 times rock type weakness. If he does go for the Charizard Y, you know, it's always got to be something in the back of the, you know, the Bully Boys' minds. And you would think Tapu Fini going to be coming along. You know, we know No Meme loves those setup moves: Dragon Dance and Charizard and Calm Mind and Tapu Fini, and so it's going to be, you know, a case of trying to stop those on the Bully Boys side. You know, last time round we saw Diggersby really putting in the work with those gunk shots. You know, hit the Finny hard, hit the Lurantis hard, and Icy Winds and Gliscor really doing the work. So it's, you know, is Meme going to try and sort of read that and bring the, you know, the Bishop this time? You know, not only going to not really be phased by those gunk shot attacks, but also with that Defiant ability on Bishop, may cover off for the Icy Winds and, you know, the attacks that Persian Alola wants to go in for. You know, such a strong support mon is Persian Alola, you know, with Foul Play, Snarl, Icy Winds, things like that. So, and of course has access to Screech and Charm and things, so it can be quite a useful, you know, asset in that team. And you think Diggersby is going to come along here, even with it being quite weak to the likes of the Tapu Fini and things, and the Lurantis. You know, we've seen the Choice Scarf be used on that Diggersby quite a few times. So definitely something to keep an eye on as well. Other than that, I think Tapu Lele seems to be a pretty strong, you know, give in this game. I think it's come pretty much every single game since I picked it up, to be honest. His thing is just so good with the terrain. Just blocks off, you know, any priority moves that something like Mienshao or Raichu might want to go for. You know, Mienshao is just, you know, we thought it was good for Meme last season, but it has really just leveled up this season. You know, Meme at one point was 1-4, and Mienshao has been a big part of why he's been able to turn that around. So, but either way, guys, we're going to get right in this one. It is the Bully Boys taking on Space City PC, our last round 1 game. Let's get into this one then. The Bully Boys do lead off with the Aerodactyl and the Persian Alola. I've got the Diggersby, the Banette, the Tapu Lele, and Phalanx in the back. Meme has leading the line with the Charizard, and Mienshao has got the Tapu Fini, Gliscor. There is the Bishop and Spiritomb in the back. You know, one thing I forgot to mention there is just how good Spiritomb has been. You know, whereas Persian Alola is good on the Bully Boy side, that Spiritomb is so damn strong on the other side. You know, Icy Wind, Snarl, Foul Play, Will-O-Wisp. You know, it's very bulky as well, and with that one type weakness, it makes it quite a problematic mon to take out. Oh, do apologise, guys. It's just me checking something. You would think the Aerodactyl, maybe I'm going to try and go on the Tailwind route. Fake Out does go into that Mienshao because it is in a focus. Maybe just try and do a bit of chip damage and read for you know, a Sash, but CC. It's going to do some big damage at the Persian Alola. Not quite enough. Persian Alola obviously quite bulky, but does manage to hang on. Maybe a dual wing beat would have been there on the Aerodactyl. So no Mega revealed on that Aerodactyl, so it could be on the Aerodactyl or it could be on the Banette. Charizard is Mega Charizard excellent. There's the wide guard. Dual wing beat though, going to miss on the Mienshao. That could be huge. Snarl going to be blocked by that wide guard, and Charizard just free to go for a Dragon Dance, and this is where it could get very scary for the side of the Bully Boys. See, hovering over a few moves there. Feint does appear to be on the Persian Alola. Bishop now going to switch in. Feint going to do a little bit of damage on the Charizard, but there's a Dragon Claw going to get rid of the Aerodactyl. No sash on the Aerodactyl, and First Blood goes to Meme in this one. Great start there on the side of the Charizard. And Tapu Lele now going to switch in, going to give it that Psychic Surge go up. But it's got to be a case of trying to stop that Charizard now, though. It could get very, very scary. You know, with it getting that boost, Dragon Claw is going to get rid of the Persian Laws. There's now a 4v2. Moonblast not going to quite do enough. It's going to drop the special attack. The Iron Head going to get rid of the Lele, and this is quickly going very wrong for the side of the Bully Boys. And it is looking to be a 4-0 in this first game. So in comes Diggersby. Is it going to have that Choice Scarf on it? Thank you. I will stretch as well. Thank you. Dragon Claw is, I mean, it's going to go first. Does it have the Choice Scarf? Ice Punch not going to quite do enough. Ice Slash is going to get rid of the Diggersby, and Meme takes this game number 1 then. And into game 2 we go. So Meme with a great start then, switches up now and goes for the Tapu Fini and Mienshao lead. Bully Boys going for the Diggersby and the Burnett then. So Frisk going to find the Sash and leftovers on the Fini. So good, you know, good information there just to find out it's definitely Sash on the Mienshao, because didn't get to find out in that game 1. It was over very quickly. It does appear to be Choice Scarf on the Diggersby. Of course, Misty Terrain is up. Last time we saw that Mega Burnett on the Bully Boy side making use of Swagger, you know, with Terrain going up means no status effects occur. So no burns, no paralyzers, no ice, no freeze, sorry. More importantly, no confusion. The Fake Out goes off into the Diggersby, so no attacks going off there, but the Swagger going to come out from the Mega Burnett, and Substitute comes out from the Fini then, so that could be quite huge. Fini now going to be able to freely go for those Calm Minds behind the Substitute. And, you know, until that Substitute is gone, it's in a pretty safe spot. U-turn comes out from the Diggersby. He got some big damage on the Mienshao despite the resisting attack. So allow the Tapu Lele to switch in and change up the terrain. Knockoff going to come off the Mega Burnett. Takes a big hit there. Muddy Water, though, is going to miss on the Mega Burnett, more importantly. And Shadow Claw is going to get rid of the Mienshao. So First Blood going to the Bully Boys this time around. And Finny going to get some of that HP back thanks to leftovers. That is a huge Muddy Water miss there to allow the Mega Burnett to survive. In comes the Bishop. Then we saw how strong this thing was against that Lele last time. We got Lele with no Babiri Berry as you might expect on that, you know, but it does appear to be the Kibi Berry, and so it knows he can freely go for those Iron Heads. Mega Burnett not really with much to take out the Bishop here either. Lele goes for the protect, sees that Iron Head coming, so it does block that Iron Head. Moonblast, oh, just hangs on to the Mega Burnett, and there's the Gunk Shot, so it's going to break the Substitute on the Fini, more importantly, and reveals the Gunk Shot on that Mega Burnett, more importantly, as well. So a huge turn there, so at least breaks the Substitute. Bully Boys still with that 1 mon advantage. And then it's got to try and go on the offensive now. Try and get some sort of damage off into one of these mons. Bishop is going to be lining one up. It's going to be just slowly but surely just swinging that back, ready to just smack it off the face of the planet. Aerodactyl is going to switch in place of the Mega Burnett. There's the Thunderbolt into Finny. Finny managing to tank that one. Does get hit with the paralysis though. And Night Slash does some huge damage into Aerodactyl there. Moonblast and do some damage into Lele as well, but no special attack drops which will be very nice for the Broody Boys. So Finney is going to have its speed halved by that process. It's going to be good news for the Lele. Maybe go on the offensive with another Thunderbolt. Might just do enough. Aerodactyl, you know, is it going to be worth sacking it off just to get the tailwind up, just to allow that speed control? Might be used. Goes for the rock side then, maybe trying to go for a flinch. Thunderbolt though is going to take out the Finney. So it's now a 4v2. Ironhead's going to get rid of the Aerodactyl, so it does trade that kill. Rock slide just doing enough chip damage to allow that Thunderbolt to take out the Finney. As now in comes the Diggersby then. And Spiritomb revealed to be the final Pokemon on the side of Space City PC. So we know this thing, it loves to run Foul Play, it loves to run Snarl. Either or are going to be pretty potent here. You know, drop the Lele special attack and you're in a very, very good spot. Bishop, not with too strong special defenses, so a Moonblast is liable to do quite a bit of damage into it. It just does rightfully so protect, and Ice Punch is going to get blocked. It's a double into Bishop, so going to allow Spiritomb to go on the offensive with something, gets the Icy Wind off, so going to drop the speed of Lele and Diggersby. So how huge could that be in this late game then, as he tries to bring himself back into this one 2v3 situation for Meme to try and take this one 2-0. There is the Ice Punch. No freezes going off. The Ironhead though is going to get rid of Diggersby now a 2v2. What's the Moonblast win? The Moonblast goes into Bishop, takes it. Bishop out. Now Spiritomb versus the Well Snarl. Going to drop the special attack on the Lele, and Lele just about hanging on. But Mega Manette on 10% HP. Spiritomb, can it manage this? It's on full HP in this 1v2. Snarl here might be just enough to take both out. Obviously going to be special effective against that Mega Manette. Has got to do something here to try and take both out and hope that a Snarl lands. Moonblast doesn't quite do enough. Thanks, that special attack drop. Drops the special attack on the Spiritomb, but it's going to activate that Citrus Berry. Shadow Claw does a little bit of damage into Spiritomb, but the Snarl, it misses the Lele. It's going to take out the Mega Banette, but Lele now in a 1v1. Lele surviving, more importantly, and a Moonblast should be enough to tie this one up. No worries, Meme, catch you soon. Lele gets the Moonblast off, and there we are, is 1-1. A huge Snarl miss there, saving the game for the Broody Boys, and they live to fight for another game. As into game number 3 we go. This time Meme leading off with a completely different lead again for a third game in a row. Goes to the Spiritomb and Guscar. This time the Broody Boys go right back to the Aerodactyl and a Alolan Persian lead that we saw in game number 1. Protect comes out from the Guscar, just reading it. Fago goes for the feint though. What has Aerodactyl gone? Aerodactyl goes for the tailwind, so no damage going off into the Guscar, but Foul Play going to hit off at the Spiritomb. And a little bit of damage away to Guscar there, but maybe a bit of a waste with that feint, and Aerodactyl taking a huge amount of damage, but tailwind being up, more importantly, is huge there. 3 more turns of it to go. Coming out from the Aerodactyl, there is the Icy Wind to get some 4 times effective damage on Guscar and drop the speed of both Spiritomb and Guscar. X-Scissor coming out, it's doing some decent damage to Icy Wind. Going to be a lot about that Protect, it's going to drop the speed on that Alolan Persian. More importantly, Poison Heal is going to allow Guscar to get a good chunk of that damage back. And all the while these two are in, that tailwind has been wasted, you know. But neither of these can do much damage into Gliscor or the Spiritomb. And got to be careful because Meme could potentially make a read here and switch in that Bishop. You know, and one thing you don't want that Defiant Brockton. There's the Bishop switching in, goes for the Rock Slide. Is it going to get a flinch on the Spiritomb potentially? But goes to the Icy Wind, and Bishop is going to get that Defiant procced. Going to get the speed drop, but that two times attack could be really huge. There's the Icy Wind from Spiritomb, so it does get the kill on Aerodactyl, but Alolan Persian speed dropped right through the floor. Tailwind is going to allow it to, you know, get some of that speed back. One more turn of Tailwind to go. And in comes the Phalanx then. Phalanx in a great position to take out Bishop though. Are we maybe going to see a Protect come out from the Bishop? There is the Feint doing a little bit of damage. It goes to the Ally Switch to Spiritomb. That's huge play there. Spiritomb not going to take any damage. The Iron Head gets rid of the Phalanx and is now a 4v2. How huge could that be in this game number 3? And Meme looking to take this one and knock the Booty Boys down to the losers bracket for a 3rd season in a row. As now in comes the Lele. And it looks to be that the Persian Lola only has Feint and Fake Out as damaging moves on there. Of course, doesn't want to proc the Defiant anymore with a Snarl or an Icy Wind. So Alolan Persian is pretty much done for all intents and purposes. It is all up to Lele to try and bring this one back in essentially a 1v4. And you know how potent that Iron Head is. Protect comes out from the Bishop. Feint, of course, not going to work in the Psychic Terrain. Moonblast's going to block that Protect. There is the Snarl from the Spiritomb. And he's just going to drop the special attack through its backside. And that is a huge, huge turn there, that turn number 5. Persian, just all it can really do is he's just not trying to proc that Defiance. Doesn't quite do enough to Spiritomb. The Moonblast Ironhead gets rid of the Persian Lola, and Bishop's going to be able to just clean up here. I think this is going to be game, set, and match. And Meme moves on to the winners' semi-finals to play South Croydon Saws, in winners' semis. Dropping the special attack a little bit further. I did skip the 10. And this one is over and done with. Finny going to switch in just to get that terrain. There's the Sucker Punch, gets rid of the Lele. And that is it then. That is all she wrote for the Bully Boys in the winners brackets. It's down to the losers bracket, they fall. So let's take a look at the updated playoffs bracket then after round 1. So as you can see there, Miami Heat taking on Inglorious Surfers in winner semi-final number 1. And in winner semi-final number 2, the South Croydon Saws take on Space City PC. Of course, we do have a losers bracket here. So in losers round 1, you've got the Toronto 6 taking on the Welsh Warriors. Of course, these two have not played each other yet. Jay obviously faced off, didn't get to face off against Matrix and his Welsh Warriors, as the team, Draco's team, had already played Matrix earlier in the season. And as the Bully Boys taking on Tendo Melma, as of course the loser of these games is out of playoffs. The winner lives to fight another day. So are we about to see one of these 4 teams drop out altogether? You know, we saw last season the Buddha Boys dropped out at this stage. The other 3 teams that are all brand new, so have no history at this point of the competition. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the rest of this one goes. But we're going to start off the next set of games with winners semi-finals, and we have got a huge one to kick off first. It is, of course, the Inglorious Surfers taking on Miami Heat. Last time round, this one went to a game number 3, went all the way in. Aaron just having the edge over Latvian and his Miami Heat, but Latvian doesn't mess around in playoffs and is going to be looking for that sweet, sweet revenge over Aaron. And but this is where Aaron thrives in playoffs. So this is very much a clash of the Titans, as it were. Last time round we saw just how strong the Pelipper, the Drapion, and the Rillaboom was into Lat's team. Airshrew was definitely a bit of a saving grace on Latvian side. We saw it with the Thunder Punch, Wicked Blows, getting some big damage off onto Aaron's side. But the Articuno, Galar, Gengar just didn't quite do enough with that Fungus there, as using Rage Powder and Pollen Puff to try and keep him kicking around. Just needed to make use of if he could bring Typhlosion, it sort of forces Aaron to bring that Pelipper. So definitely going to be something in Latvian's mind going into this one. He's going to want to try and force Aaron into a corner with his, his team set up, try and take this one out. But Aaron definitely looking very, very strong at this one. His team tends to just cover all options. He's got the Rillaboom there that's, not only is setting the terrain, but is really strong into Primarina, into the likes of the Seeking and things. There's only really Typhlosion that are gonna and the Articuno Galar, they're gonna threaten that Rillaboom pretty hard. But on the other side, on Aaron's side, Crobat as well. Aaron may choose to go down the sleep route, or go for Tailwind with that Crobat. We've seen him using Hypnosis many times this season. Whether you're going to trust it after all them Hydro Pump misses against Matrix, we will certainly see. But very, very interesting to see what kind of lead comes out. Hitmonlee and its Fake Out Pressure may be good, just in case that Typhlosion is, leading the line for Latvian and going straight for the Eruptions, and try and just take as much out as he can. But again, bringing Typhlosion is very risky when you've got the likes of the Swampert and Pelipper kicking around. We know Lipad does have access to Sunny Day, so could mess around with the weather that way, but it does become a bit of a weather war at that point. So we will certainly see, guys. But anyway, let's get into this one then. It is the big one. It is Aaron and his Inglorious Surfers taking on Miami Heat. Winner goes through to winners finals. Loser drops to the losers bracket, and Latvian has got the Airshrew, Mr. Mime, Typhlosion, Gengar, Scribble, and the Lipad, and Aarontmarshall has got the Drapion Crobat lead with the Swampert, Rillaboom, Pelipper, and Mawile in the back. Sorry, that wasn't supposed to be Snubble, it was Granbull, but the words just molded together, and it came out as Grubble. The Lipad does have that Fake Out Pressure cause Crobat does have enough focus. Is not going to be too phased by that, but could go for the Fake Out in a Drapion. And you would expect Gengar to go for the Mega here. Does indeed go for the Mega. Taunt comes out there into the Crobat. Said Taunt just gonna block its own Taunt, and Gengar going for the Perish Song then. So Snarl going off for the Drapion is going to drop the special attack on the Gengar and Lipad. Lipad not going to be too phased by the special attack drop, but Gengar not going to enjoy that too much. But of course, Gengar does have that does have the ability that that traps those two Pokemon in. So Aaron now unable to switch out, stuck into Drapion and Crobat. Encore comes out with the Lipad, but oh no, that's a mistake. Goes to the Encore because Crobat didn't get its move off, and there's the disable from Gengar, so it's only got access to knockup, but Gengar going to get knocked out, and that's going to mean Aaron now is free to switch out. 2 turns of Perish Song to go. Bit of a disastrous start there for Latvian, trying to get the Perish Song going, and now in switches in the Typhlosion then, so Typhlosion would expect to go for the Eruptions, but Aaron now is probably just free to switch in Pelipper, get that Rain up, and the Eruption's just not going to be doing anywhere near as much damage. And there it is, there is the Pelipper switch in, and Granbull switches in for the Lipad, gets the Intimidate off on a Drapion. Eruption just not doing anything in the rain. Out comes the Rock Slide, thanks to that Intimidate, again not too much, but Granbull now going to switch out thanks to its eject button, takes a bit of hits for that, so it does reveal the item on the Granbull, so it's good information for Aaron. Of course Drapion is going to perish next turn, so you'd think Aaron's going to not risk it now and let it switch out. Swampert does indeed switch in to make use of that. Goes to the Sunny Day. The Eruption's going to still do a big chunk, but both Mons there resisting. Akarin comes out from the Pelipper. It's going to allow it just get some of that HP back along with leftovers. So just keeping that Pelipper kicking around. And Latvian is now in one hell of a spot. He's down a Mon. Just strat he's wanted to get off. Clearly just hasn't quite worked. Granbull going to switch in, going to get that Intim off onto Swampert. More importantly, Swampert going to go through to Mega. Encore comes out, so Pelipper going to be locked into Akaring. Rock Slide going to miss the Granbull. More importantly, of course, Akaring going to fail. So smart stuff there from Latvian, just keeping Pelipper locked in. Drapion now switches in for the Pelipper. It's going to allow Pelipper to switch back in against Swampert. Now locked into the Rock Slide, so he potentially gets the flinch. See what he does. He gets the flinch on Granbull. How huge could that be? this is just not going the way the Latvian wants it at all. He's Encore Swampert into that rock side, but the rock side's now just getting flinches on his Pokemon. Lipard going to switch out. In comes the Typhlosion. It switches right into that rock slide. Just not what you want to see. There's double rock slides. That's going to take out the Typhlosion. Flinch goes off again on the Gramble. It's now a 2v4. Aaron has just completely controlled this one. That huge mistake of the Lipard going for that Encore 10 number 2. I think it's really wrecked what Latvian was trying to go for there. And Gramble with 2 flinches in a row. And that's just enough to frustrate anyone. And it looks to be that Aaron's RNG is back. And Latvian just goes to the 4. He's had enough. He throws in the towel for that game 1. And we're going to move straight into game number 2 then. And just really just didn't go the way that he wanted to in that game number 1. But Latvian now going to go for a reset. Comes back into game 2 with the Lipard and Gengar again. And Aaron just sticks with what worked game 1. It ain't broke. Don't fix it. Crobat and Drapion lead the line. So he has a little bit of information and knows kind of what Latvian wants to go for now. Does Latvian change it up and just go on the offensive with the Gengar instead though, and go all out, or is the fake out from the Lipard into Drapion Dual Wing Beat's going to come, but it's going to miss on the Gengar. Gengar goes for the Perish Song again. So thanks to its ability, they are trapped in. Does get the Perish Song off. So Latvian obviously confident in that strat. Protect comes out from that Gengar. Encore from the Lipard, so it gets it off the sound Dual Wing Beat into that Gengar's going to get blocked by the Protect. And Aaron doubling into the Gengars, it means Perish Trap is going to go off another 10, so the count, it keeps ticking away, and Aaron's got to try and get rid of that Gengar as soon as possible. No, Gengar has that disabled Lipard with the Encore, just playing full annoyance on this set here, and Aaron is royally stuck. Lipard's going to switch out. In comes the Eshru then. Dual Wing Beat into that Gengar, gets some good damage off. There's the disable from the Gengar, so they can't use knockoff, which is what Aaron went for, and it's down goes the Perish, another 10. Are we about to see this Perish Trap team work in the favour of Latvians this time? Seems to have got the strat working the way you want to do it to. Eshru now can start putting in some damage if it wants to. Gengar going to be free to go for a Protect again now. Eshru may even look to go for a Detect, just block Crobat going for a Dual Wing Beat, which of course would break its Focus Sash. Aaron now seems to be doing, I think he's got to try and play this one carefully, but it might be that he's just completely stuck. Gramble's going to switch in for that last 10, going to get the Intim off onto Drapion. Inner Focus not going to matter. In comes the Lipard to double switch in, sees the Dual Wing becoming Lipard, manages to tank that hit, and there's the Cross Poison. Lipard not going down to that. Encore ends, Perish now ends, down they both go, and there's now a 2v4. Latvian really switching this one around. Now it's all up to Mega Swampert and Pelipper. Of course, Gramble does have that eject pack on, so it's going to take a hit, and it's just going to allow the Gengar potentially to just switch back in here. Lipard can just go for the Sunny Day if he wants, but goes for the fake out. Stockpile comes out from the Pelipper, then, so it's going to boost its defenses up. There's the Thunder Punch, just the Stockpile allowing the Pelipper to stay alive there. You would think it was going to go down otherwise. Gramble revealing that Thunder Punch as well is important. Good information there for Aaron. there is the Sunny Days recess at the Muddy Water. It's just not going to do anything thanks to that sun going up. Gramble going to switch out thanks to the eject button. A smart play there from Aaron's. In comes the air Shifu. Then Stockpile comes out again for the Pelipper. It's really boosting his defenses up now, but Swampert in a little bit of a pickle. Because Aaron not able to switch out the Pelipper, so he may be running Rain Dance on there. It might allow to reset the weather back. There is the Oncos stuck into the Stockpile. There's the Wicked Blow. Gets some big damage to Swampert. Muddy Water is going to get rid of the Lipad, but Urshifu not really phased by that. Very minimal damage going off in the Urshifu slot. And this one looks to be in Latvian's favour. Latvian about to tie us up at 1 apiece. There is the Shadow Ball that gets rid of the Swampert. Wicked Blow is going to take out the Pelipper, and Latvian does indeed tie us up at 1 apiece. We go to a game 3 in this set once again. It just had to, didn't it? It had to during the regular season. It's got to during playoffs. We've got to go to a game 3 between these two. Winner goes on to winners final, guarantees themselves at least third. Loser has to face the gauntlet of the losers bracket. And now in comes Mr. Mime and Gengar this time. So Latvian does switch it up now. Aaron sticking with the Crobat and Drapion then. So obviously maybe not expecting Latvian to go for it again, but it looks to be like he may go for the Perish Song again. You know, Mr. Mime with access to Fake Out. Follow Me as well, just to keep that damage away for Gengar. And not really any spread damage move on either Pokemon there. And, you know, Aaron is potentially stuck if he doesn't move. There's the Follow Me. Goes for the Taunt on the Mr. Mime. So that could be huge. But there is the Perish Song. Cross Poison going to get some good super effective damage into Mr. Mime. And here we go again with the count. It's the final countdown, as that famous song would go. And now Aaron finds himself in a very, very familiar situation. We saw this same thing in game number 2. And Latvian may just look to switch out Mr. Mime in this turn. Protect comes out from the Gengar, as you would expect. There's the dual wing beat. Doesn't really the Protect come. There's the Energy Ball from Mr. Mime. It's not really doing anything. And Knockoff is doubled into the Gengar again. This is Aaron really rattled here, and this takes the Perish count down to 2. And the Gengar just menacingly staring on this Crobat and Drapion are just easy pickings at the minute. Aaron's really got to try and change this around and bring something and try something different. Of course, Mr. Mime can't go for that Follow Me now, so he's got to go for damaging moves really. We expect that Energy Ball was being saved for the Mega Swampert, knowing it's 4 times weak. Gramble switches in then, so does make the switch. Gets that into him onto the Drapion. And it's a double switch again, brings in the Air Shoot and Gramble. Gramble's going to take that dual wing beat hit and is going to eject itself back out and allow Gengar to switch back in. It's such smart stuff from Latvian there. He's got this play down to a T. Gengar Mega switching back in. There's the knockoffs. Does switch into the knockoff, unfortunately, but now Crobat and Drapion are going to perish next time, and Gengar's going to be just free to go for the Protect. You know what, Lat may even choose to switch out the Airshrew again, bring the Gramble back in, get that Intim off onto Drapion. both of them really trying to work each other out now. This has become not so much mind game, just sort of a meeting of the minds now. But both teams with all 4 mons. Mesa Mime does switch in. There is the protect on the Gengar. Tailwind goes off for the Crobat, so that could be a huge play there. Mr. Mime going to get taken out by that drop beyond, but both going to perish. But it's a 2v3, so getting that kill and getting Tailwind off could be really huge for him to bring this one back. Covering off just in case that Lipad chooses to reset the weather. Swampert is going to get afflicted by that Intimidate, so he could drop its attack. But we've seen it using Muddy Water, so it does sound to be a special attacking Mega Swampert set. Just covering off for any Intims. So smart stuff from there from Aaron in his team build. Does go for the Mega Muddy Water though, misses the Gengar. That could be huge. Gramble going to get the accuracy drop. Out comes the Perish Song once again. Scald into the Gengar. Gengar just about hangs on. Thunder Punch misses though on the Pelipper. How huge could that be? Huge, huge turn there. Muddy Water misses the Gengar. Thunder Punch misses the Pelipper. Both accuracy moves, so you do run that risk. But maybe the RNG has escaped Aaron. Maybe this is not the Aarontmarshall of old. Got to play it carefully. Now Latvian can just comfortably switch around, goes for the protect on the Gengar, in comes the Urshifu. She's going to take a big amount of hit to hit from that Muddy Water. It's going to break the sash as well. Aaron reads it right, but the Scald doesn't quite do enough to the Urshifu. Just manages to hang on. And now Latvian can potentially just switch out the Gengar this turn, take the hit on the Grambo, and just allow the Gengar to switch back in for that final turn and can go for the protect. This one could be game, set, and matchy. That Muddy Water miss could be huge. There is indeed the Gramble switches in. Down goes Gramble and Urshifu. Of course, Pelipper's hit is not going to work, and we move to the last turn of Perish. And yes, Gengar can just go for the protect. And this is it, guys. For the first time in 3 seasons, Aarontmarshall and his Inglorious Surfers are going to be knocked to the losers bracket. And Latvian then going to move on to the winners final, be our first winners finalist, and be the first, well, 1 out of 2 to potentially make grand finals. There it is, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Down goes Aarontmarshall into losers bracket. That's something we've not had to say in a lot, not since season 1 have we had to say that. But nah, GG's to both players, and of course Latvian, a huge win there. I think he was just so confident in that strat that when it didn't work in game 1, he was like, nah, this is gonna work. This is definitely working. And the balls on that man to do that is absolutely insane, and just like such a huge game. But yeah, props to both guys. Very huge game. And on our next winners semi-final game, it is Space City PC taking on South Croydon Stars. Before we get into this one, I'm going to just take a quick little water break. I'll be back in about 5 minutes with you guys, and we'll go through this game. Alright guys, welcome back. We are back to take a look at this one. The South Croydon Saws taking on Space City PC. So early on in the season, Crizzle did manage to take a game off Meme and his Space City PC, but this is a whole different animal in Space City PC. And as we mentioned earlier, this is very, very, very risky territory for Crizzle and the South Croydon Saws. So 2 seasons in a row, this is where he has dropped to the losers bracket. So he's going to be trying to break that duck and change his fortune and get through to winners final. Now he knows that Aarontmarshall is waiting for him in that losers bracket. He might be even more, careful to not drop there. But this is going to be an absolute war between these two. I am fully expecting, both sides match up against each other really, really well. Of course, Bulu is, going to be strong against that Tbpl, which you would think Meme is always going to be trying to bring. And on the other side, you've got the Charizard either X and Y. We saw in that previous game where Meme knocked the Bulu Boys down to the loser bracket that Charizard X is nothing to be shaked at. You usually expect to see the Charizard Y with Meme and go for a bit of a weather battle, but I would think that's not going to be the case here. I think Spiritomb again, it could be really, really huge with those spread moves. It knows has access to Will-O-Wisp, which is going to really put a stop to the likes of that Tapu Bulu, but got to be careful. Hitting those spread moves. You don't want to accidentally hit a switching in Mudsdale or Milotic, activate a stamina or competitive boost. It could get very, very scary. Alternatively as well, Crizzle does have that comfort. It's not only it's got the floral healing to keep things like the Cresselia and Mudsdale and the likes alive for a lot longer. Has of course Draining Kiss or Giga Drain to activate weakness policies. We've seen the Draining Kiss weakness policy proc on that Goodra a few times this season. So it could be a few very interesting brings over on Meme side as well. We saw how strong that Bishop was, and of course Mienshao in those last games. You would fully expect to see the Mienshao in this one, as always. Is his favourite pick. I don't blame him. It's been so strong from this season. That why wouldn't you bring it to a game where it can really, really thrive? It's quite a wide move pool as well as Mienshao. You've got poison attacks, knockoff, die type attacks, of course close combat, drain punch, things like that. Gives it quite a wide variety of moves you can pick. May even choose to go down a bit of a different path and go for a Latias. He knows Bulu doesn't tend to run fairy type coverage, and while Yesuke Comfort has that Draining Kiss, Latias, if we can get some Calm Minds going, can put it in a very, very strong position. But guys, I want to stop my rambling. Let's get into this one. It is the second winning semi-final. It is the Space City PC taking on the South Croydon Saws, and Crizzle does have that Horluigi, Tapu Bulu, Electivire, Comfort, Milotic, and Mudsdale then. So very much the sort of Crizzle team you'd expect on the Meme side. Does indeed have that Tbpl with the Charizard, Latias, Raichu, Lurantis, and Spiritomb. Then so no Mienshao in the lineup. Very surprisingly, maybe saw that Horluigi as a bit of a threat. And of course, with its flying type attacks, the Charizard lines up next to the Raichu. So Raichu going to have that fake out pressure. So no Mienshao, but still fake out pressure on the field. Bulu going to activate the Unburden on that Horluigi as you would expect. Mudsdale switches in, so it goes straight for the switch out, expecting the Charizard to go for the Mega Charizard X, though Fake are going to be blocked by that Protect, and that's going to allow Charizard to go straight for the Dragon Dance. So this could get quite scary quite quickly, as we saw in the previous game, if he doesn't deal with that Charizard very quickly. What has he got in his locker to take it out then? We know that Mudsdale does have high horsepower, which is going to be super effective against this Charizard. Loses flying type, and in comes the Latias and goes for the Encore with the Horluigi. And so the Charizard stuck into Dragon Dance. High horsepower is going to get some big damage to the Charizard, and that is not a great turn for me, not a great start whatsoever, but a great start there from Chris making a fantastic read there and revealing the Encore on that Horluigi, which you maybe wouldn't expect on that thing. Latias switching in, so no Mega on that this time round, but not that it needs it. I'll just turn the music down, guys. I know it's a little bit loud there for you. There is the Acrobatics that's going to get the job done. Down goes the Charizard. Tailwind does go up on the Latias. There's the Heavy Slam. Gets some huge damage off there. Doesn't do about half health, and now is a 4v3. So early mon advantage to Criz and his South Croydon Saws. The Finny now going to switch in to reset that terrain. Of course, Tapu Bulu is still hanging around the back, so going to be on Meme's mind that there's a potential for that to switch back in. There is a protect from the Horlucha. Is it going to allow him to go for a Calm Mind? Or he even braves the Calm Mind, which is so brave. You know, seeing what Horlucha's just done there. And Horlucha protect does block the attack from Latias, thankfully. Finny, you know, would hope to go for a protect here, just block that Encore. There is a protect indeed. It goes for the Encores. It's a great read there. Psychic going to get rid of the Horlucha. So its meme does tie us up one piece. Heavy Slam gets some big damage off to Latios. And Latios does manage to live to fight another day. Are we going to see Bulu switch in now to reset that terrain? 110 of Tailwind left to go for Meme and his Space City PC. In comes the Comfey then instead. So Comfey potentially go for a Draining Kiss here and just be enough to damage to take out the Latias. Obviously weak to Fairy typing as a Dragon Psychic. Protect coming outside Meme again, making a great read there, seeing it's coming, goes for the Muddy Water, but it misses the Mudstale. It's going to drop the accuracy on the Comfey, more importantly. There's the Heavy Slam on the Mudstale, just slowly doing chip damage when there is leftovers on that Finny once again, like we saw in the previous game against the Bulu boys. Draining Kiss is going to get rid of those. It's got to just accept that it's gone. There is a Muddy Water. It misses the Comfey this time. We get some good damage away to the Mudstale. Drops its accuracy, but does proc the stamina. There is the Heavy Slam. Gets a critical hit on the Finny. That could be huge. There's now a 2v3. Raichu and Finny against Comfey, Bulu, and Mudstale. Not looking particularly great here for me in this game. The one, Chris has played it very smart. And you know, revealing that Encore on the Horlucha is definitely going to have swayed Meme away from going for any setup moves. It's very I would have been frightened to go for the Calm Mind there on the Finny. Obviously knew he had a protect there, but if he didn't have a protect, it's God help you. There is the fake out into the Mudstale, so you know Finny going to go for the Muddy Water, can you expect, but the Floral Healing going to come out, and that's going to give Mudstale all of its HP back and get the stamina boost once again. This is looking very strong for Crizzle in this game. Number one, he said he's trying to break that duck. He's wanting to make the winners final so bad, so he doesn't have to make that losers run as he has done in the last two seasons. I mean, what a losers run he's made the last two seasons. It is a lot to do that gauntlet. Bulu switches in to get that grassy terrain up. Thunderbolt is going to get rid of the Comfey though, so that's good then. The Muddy Water, obviously Bulu going to resist that with no accuracy drops. But Bulu in a very strong position against this Finny here. And against the Raichu, you know, I mean, Mudstale and the Bulu have super effective moves against the Finny and the Raichu. So this one looking very good for Chris to take this game number one. Protect comes out from the Finny there. It's the Nuzzle into the Bulu, so it's going to get that paralysis off, which could be huge. Heavy Slam going to get blocked by that Protect. Paralysis does proc, so I don't know whether it's delaying it out. Well, this is his, you know, his win. Is this his win con to get back into this? I think though, you know, one Horn Leech is going to be enough to take out the Finny, and I'm not really sure what Raichu is going to be able to do into Bulu. Yeah, T-Ball's just not doing enough, neither is Muddy Water. Does get the accuracy drop though, going to proc the stamina. The Heavy Slam gets some good damage away to Finny. Paralysis not procking this time though, and it is now a 1v2. Raichu with it all to do, and Crizzle going to take the lead in this game number one with 1 foot in the door in winners finals. Protect comes out there from the Bulu, so it's blocked. That protects a great read there from Chris. There's a high horse. I was going to take Raichu down with Sash, so got some information on that Raichu as well. More importantly, knows what items running on it now. T-Ball just maybe hoping for a crit. Not going to matter though, because the Mudstale is going to get the job done. And into game number two, we go Meme with it all to do to bring this one back and keep his playoff dreams alive in winners bracket. And into game two, we go leading the line this time with the Spiritomb and the Latias, and the Crizzle is going with the Horlucha and the Bulu again. You know, this is at least 4 games in a row now. Crizzle has trusted this lead, and it's worked every time for him. You know, you can't blame him. As we say around these parts, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There is the tailwind from the Horloge. Horloge goes off. It's some big damage. He's going to prop the Citrus Berry on that Spiritomb though. And Psychic going to straight away hit the Horloge. So brave there, keeping that around. And the Will-O-Wisp hits into the Bulu. Also that attack stat is now halved. And that is a great start there from Meme in the Space City PC. Just starting as he means to go on. Tailwind though is up for Crizzle and his South Croydon Soz. Is the Hornleech again, getting some big, not as much damage off, but does get some of the HP back. There's Psychic doing some good damage and Heavy Slam. Spiritomb managing to hang on and gets the Will-O-Wisp off into the Mudsdale as well. So Spiritomb just, you know, putting up the stop signs for Mudsdale and Bulu to do any damage. And this is potentially where Meme can thrive. You know, the damage output on Crizz's side severely done in. I love the nickname on Spiritomb as well, by the way. No Melodic, please. Is now in, switches in, the Comfort Protector comes out from the Bulu, blocks that Psychic there, so Smash Stuff there, and out comes the Icy Wind's going to drop the speed on Comfort, and Comfort, not that it's going to, you know, really care too much. We'll see what that triage ability is going to allow it to, you know, just keep healing, you know, Tapu Bulu or whatever's next to it up. Hornleech comes out again. Spiritomb just, this thing just does not go down. Tailwind now comes out from the Latias. There's the Aromatherapy. So Smart Stuff there from Chris. Going to cue the burn on that Tapu Bulu. Icy Wind misses the Tapu Bulu as well. How huge could that be? And now this is maybe Chris's way back into the game. Tailwind though has ended. Tailwind now up on Meme's side. Protect comes out from the Bulu. Smart Stuff there. Psychic just going for the damage on the Comfort. Gets the Icy Wind. That Comfort speed, it is slower than the the original Ford Model T. Is slow and goes for the Trick Room there cleverly though, so resets the speeds. And now Crizzle's Mon's going to be going fair. So good stuff there from Crizzle. Smart plays. Two turns after Tailwind, but important to have that speed control. If you can keep Comfort alive, you can always reset that Trick Room once the Trick Room ends here. Draining Kiss, get some good damage, get some HP back. Stone Edge from the Bulu, not going to quite do enough. And there's the Nightshade from Spiritomb. Psychic going to take the Comfort right down. It's going to proc the Ipapa Berry though. It's going to allow it to go back up to half HP. 110 left of Tailwind for Space City PC. Good time there from Crizzle and from Meme, to be honest. It's a good time for both. There's a Draining Kiss. He's going to get rid of the Spiritomb finally and get some of the HP back. Stone Edge going to take out the Latias as well. And all of a sudden this is 10 right around. 2 turns of Trick Room to go. And it is all up to Lurantis and Tapu Fini now. And Fini, of course, not going to enjoy facing down that Bulu. I think, again, risking a Calm Mind here would be interesting, to say the least. I think Meme's going to think better of that for sure. There is the Floral Healing, and Bulu go right up back to full HP. There's the Poison Jab. Oh, Comfort just about hangs on. Hornleech does half damage to finish. So there's quite a bulky Finny there. And Finny does indeed go for the Calm Mind. So obviously Meme knew that the Hornleech wasn't going to take it out. So it could confidently go for the Calm Mind there. Again, it may just be his win con to come back into. So all of a sudden has went from having that advantage to being 1-1 down. Are we about to see yet another comeback here in winners semi-finals, or is Chris going to put Meme to the sword, book his slot in winners finals, and send Meme crashing down to the losers bracket for a second season in a row? Of course, these two faced off in losers round 3 last season. There's the draining kiss into Laurantis. Laurantis going to go for the superpower, gets rid of the Comfane, of course, thanks to its contrary ability. You're going to get the buffed attack and defense. Brick Break goes into the Laurantis. It's not really doing too much. And now is a 2v2, so Meme has leveled the playing field out. And in switches into the Mudstill. Laurantis is in a very good spot against this Mudstill here. There is the Muddy Water. Get some good damage off the Mudstill. He's going to proc the stamina. The Horn Leech. Oh, just Tapu Fini just about hangs on. There's the Leaf Blade. Oh, surely that's into the wrong one. He's Leaf Bladed into the Tapu Bulu's counter is going to fail on the Mudstill. Was maybe expecting the hit from the Laurantis and, you know, expecting surviving. Was going to go for the counter, but so that mistake may have just saved Meme in this one. Protect comes out from the Bulu and the Finny. There is the Leaf Blades. That's going to get rid of the critical hit as well. It's going to get rid of the Mudstill. And this could be how it ends. Is it going to be one apiece? There is a Dazzling Game. Get some good damage off to Bulu. Horn Leech is going to get rid of the Finny. The Laurantis does have Poison Jab. Goes for the Poison Jab and gets it. And Meme is going to tie us up at one apiece. What a crazy winner semi-final we've got here. 2 absolutely insane games so far. And into game number 3 we go. Are we going to see the Bulu Hawlucha lead again from Chris, or is he going to switch it up? Does go for the Bulu. Does go for the Hawlucha. Meme stick with the Latias and the Spiritomb, then can go. Seeing that there's been no Milo, it can maybe start going for the stat drops, or can at least go for a Will-O-Wisp here. Chris, you would think, is going to try and get some form of speed control up. Could just go on the offensive with the Hawlucha as well, just try and get rid of that Spiritomb early doors. It would cause such a problem for him in that game number 2. Protect comes out from the Hawlucha, then blocks the Psychic there, so smash there because Horn Leech again going to do some big damage. Going to proc the Citrus Berry once again. Spiritomb. Spiritomb's Will-O-Wisp misses though. That could be huge for this one. So Bulu not going to get that burn damage from before, or the burn to drop its attack. Crizzle smartly protecting there. You know, I thought, you know, if he doesn't go for Tailwind, he's got to either protect us, which there's a Psychic into Comfey, so keeps it going. Comfey takes a special defense drop. There's the Horn Leech into Spiritomb. Spiritomb going for the Nightshade. Just trying to do a bit of chip damage away to that Bulu. As well, Comfey's kicking around, can just keep that Bulu fully healthy with the Floral Healing. Triage going to allow those healing moves to go first. Decides to switch into Mudsails. Good stuff there. Sees the Psychic coming. He's going to get the stamina boost from it as well, and goes for the Horn Leech to take out the Spiritomb. So first blood to South Croydon Saws in this game number 3. And now in comes Laurantis. Then so Laurantis is a physical attack and cause Mudstill with that defensive boost. It's going to put it in a good spot. Knowing it has Poison Jab, though Bulu of course is 4 times weak to poison. So that puts Bulu in a little bit of a spot facing down that Laurantis. Protect coming out from the Bulu, seeing the Poison Jab potentially come. There's the Psychic. Poison Jab is also double in there to the Bulu, and the Heavy Slam comes out, gets some good damage away to Laurantis. Crizzle burning through a Protect there, but because of course has all of his mons available, could always go for a switch out on the Bulu. Latios here still sitting strong at full health. You know, that Harlucha can't really come back into play, to be honest, until that Latios is dealt with. Or until at least he's got another mon down. He's trying to go for the 2-mon advantage here, I think. Goes for the Psychic into the Mudsail. It's going to proc stamina once again. Stone Edge though into Aarontas. Aarontas managed to tank the hit. There's the Leaf Blade. No critical hit this time. Allows the Mudsail to stick around. Heavy Slam going to get rid of the Aarontas. And now is a 2v4. This is back to the wall time for me. He brings in the Tapu Fini then. So it knows it can live a Horn Leech from that Bulu. Mudsail on pretty low HP now. So does he go for the Protect there? Go on the attack with the Bulu? Or can he make a switch? I mean, no. Comfey's on pretty low HP. But, you know, you really don't want to be making a switch in at this point to Harlucha, you know, knowing that he's probably going to go for damage with the Psychic into that slot. Or potentially he goes for the double in on the Tapu Bulu. It depends really what Meme's going to see as the biggest threat here. Just both playing it very, very patiently here. They're not willing to risk anything with any sort of dramatic or, you know, non-thought-through plays here. Crizzle especially, as said, doesn't want to... In comes the Harlucha. There goes the Psychic. Harlucha switches straight in. How big of a mistake could that be? Carmine comes out from the Tapu Fini. There is the Horn Leech. That's going to take Fini down to below half HP. Leftover is going to give some of that HP back. But, oh man, that Fini is faster than Tapu Bulu, of course. So what is Crizzle going to switch in its place? Mudsail on low HP. Comfey on half HP. It's got to get rid of that Fini as soon as possible. I think Meme did just disconnect in that moment there, but is back. There is the Draining Kiss, just getting some of that HP back on the Comfey is very important as the Psychic does such big damage and can potentially get a special defense drop. There's a Dazzling Gleam from the Fini. Is going to give proc the Eye Papa Berry on the Comfey. Stone Edge doing some big damage at Latios as well. Meme definitely backs against the wall, but definitely not down and out of this one just yet. Those Dazzling Gleams doing some big hits. And Psychic as well doing some big damage as well. He's got 2 big damage dealers and that Carmine boost really helping out Fini. There's another Draining Kiss. Latios almost down. Comfey getting some good HP, but that doesn't go down to the Psychic, but does get a special defense drop. Muddy Water's going to land. It's going to take out Comfey and gets the accuracy drop on the Tapu Bulu. Horny, so it's going to land. That's going to allow Bulu to get some of the HP back, and now is a 1v2. Fini versus Tapu Bulu and Mudsail. This could go either way here. Fini, of course, is going to be faster than both. Does he go for the Dazzling Gleam, get the, you know, the definite hit, or does he go for Muddy Water and try and just go for the super effective damage? I think Dazzling Gleam would be enough. Goes for the Protect, trying to get some of the HP back thanks to leftovers. That's smart stuff there again from Meme. There is a Dazzling Gleam. It gets a critical hit on the Bulu as well. Bulu just about hanging on. There is the Horn Leech. It's going to get that HP back. Fini just about hanging on. But this one is going to be over. Fini is going to move first. That's going to mean that Crizzle, for a 3rd season in a row, is going to be dropping to the losers bracket then. And oh, man. What a game 3 we just had in our hands. Meme bringing it back from, you know, a mon down. Gets the Dazzling Gleam off. There is the confirmation. Absolutely insane stuff, boys and girls, in winners semis. All 4 teams really bringing it there. to try and get through to winners final. So that means that it will be, of course, Miami Heat versus Space City PC in winners final. Both teams guaranteed at least third, but both going to be playing for a spot in, of course, the grand finals. But that means Crizzle is going to move down to the losers bracket, as we said there, for a third season in a row. He's got to go through the gauntlet to try and make grand finals, and now he knows that at some point he's going to have to play Aaron in losers bracket and not in grand finals. So made all the bit more spicy. But speaking of losers bracket, let's take a quick look now at the losers round 1 games. To kick things off, we've got the Welsh Warriors taking on Toronto 6. Last time around, we saw Merrick's losing out to Aaron, and of course Jay being knocked to losers by Latvian and his Miami Heat. These two yet to play each other in the British Pokemon League, as we mentioned earlier in the show. Matrix had already played Jay's spot when it was Draco's, so these two very much unfamiliar with each other. Jay's team completely different to what it was when Matrix played it as Draco. And it's going to be a very difficult one to call for both. As I said, we've got no history between these two to sort of reference. But, you're going to expect that the Hatterene and Shinnok, at the very least, are going to be staying at home. This one, it's almost as if Matrix's team is very steel type, centric. Thank you for the stretch. I will stretch now. There we go. So I think them two, at the very least, going to be staying home in this one. Of course, Metagross as well with that ground type coverage. It's going to really cover off the likes of the Nidoking and Regieleki as well. So got to try and play this one smart. Maybe this is where Jay tries to, get the Trick Room up, with something. I can't remember if Meowstic gets Trick Room. I'm pretty sure it does. But could go that way, try and reset the speed controls that way. Because I know Matrix's team in general is pretty slow, but he does like a cheeky choice scarf on that heat run, and just to try, and of course Metagross being quite fast as well. If it is the Mega Metagross, could if Matrix goes for those two, could mean he can get the speed where he wants it and work on them too. Gallade is going to be in a very good spot to do some big damage here into a lot of Matrix's team. The psychic fighting, dual typing. If you can get that attack boost off from either justified or through other means, then you could almost see Gallade sort of wreck through the team. So definitely something going to be Matrix is going to be thinking about. Does he bring something sort of to take advantage of that psychic terrain? Indeed, that indeed he's going to be bringing. I'm not sure that anything on the team is going to get an expanding force move, but Metagross does of course get Zen Headbutt. Just going to get the boost from the terrain being up. The likes of the Nidoking not going to particularly enjoy being slapped in the face by one of those. But guys, without further ado, let's get into this one. It is the Welsh Warriors taking on Toronto 6. Do want to do a quick shout out to Matrix for recording for this one for me. Do appreciate it. He did warn me that he doesn't accidentally skip time, so we'll just skip around a little bit. I do apologise. Matrix going to lead the line with Togedemaru, has got the Steelix, Empoleon, back to keep on the lead. Jay, Mainland, Edie, and Gallade in the second season. I've got the Nidoking, Regieleki, Oh, sorry guys. As the volume was so high there. Thank you for letting me know that one. Togedemaru in a good spot here to, can't go for the fake up, but can go straight on the offensive with some damage. Heat run, if it is scarfed, you could see the eruption come out. I think Gallade does get, it definitely gets quick guard. Whether it gets wide guard or not does remain to be seen. There is the Gallade going for some mega outcomes. The following eruption. Gallade does manage to tank that though, as does Indeedee, thanks to its Psychic Seed. Ironhead getting some big damage. There's the Drain Punch. Gets a load of HP back. Heat Run. Just so I hang on, but Flame Body is going to burn the Gallade. So it's not the it's not Flash Fire on the Heat Run then. Eruption doing quite a bit of damage there, but Gallad getting all that HP back. Thank you, Dogsy. Ironhead getting some important damage off to Indeedee as well. Matrix making a strong start there. Heatran surviving, proving to be very, very huge there. You know, I think Gallad had got the KO there. That would have been, you know, quite a strong start in terms of, you know, for Jay, getting all that HP back and a KO. But Matrix getting the burn on Gallad could be huge as Metagross switches in comes the Hitmontop, gets the Intim across Metagross with that clay body, not going to be affected by that. Ironhead though, not going to do as much thanks to that attack. But the Gallad goes to the Sword stance then, so brace up there from Jay, reading maybe that Matrix will be likely to switch out. Thought it best to go for a Sword stance, is going to get that attack step back. Does Matrix preserve that Togedemaru, switch it back out just to get its attack stat, you know, reset. You see there's Steelix is going to be switching in, Metagross going to be going for that Mega Evolution. Gallad getting that 2x attack boost, going to be very, very huge. You know, even with the burn, it's still going to be hitting very hard. Hitmontop, you would think, is going to try and maybe go on the offensive here. Or we may even see Coaching. You know, Coaching may be a great shout on that Hitmontop, just give that defense buff to Gallad and give it another attack stat boost. And in switches in. The Steelix there is Mega. Metagross goes to Mega. Coaching does come out, so there it is. Smash there from Jade. Meteor Mash comes out. Gallad hangs on from that Drain Punch. Not going to quite do enough to Metagross, but it does mean Gallad gets some of its HP back. Sat at half HP now. Steelix with some heavy hitting moves by the looks of it. Guys, sorry, my headphones are falling out, and goes for the Coaching once again. Meteor Mash, is it going to do enough? Gallad does hang enough. Drain Punch. Oh, Steelix just about hangs on. Steelix costs that huge defensive stat. It's going to mean that it sticks around. Even with that, there was attack boost. You've got to think if Gallad hadn't been burned early doors, Gallad would be just absolutely wrecking house right now. That burn just about doing enough to be a nuisance to Jay. Good start so far from Matrix, aiming to make progress into the next round of the losers bracket. Both players said this is their first season in Tbpl, so first experience of Tbpl playoffs. In comes the Nidoking. Nidoking though, going to see that its friend Gallad goes down, and Nidoking takes a huge hit from Heavy Slam from the Steelix. As now in comes Hitmontop, so it does now get the attack drop on the Metagross. Of course, Metagross, not with the clear body ability, does have tough claws. Hitmontop could potentially go for a fake out here now that terrain is gone. Steelix looks to be going for an Earthquake here. Try and get that spread damage, of course, super effective to that Nidoking. Hitmontop in a very good spot to try and get some big damage off here. Protect comes out from that Metagross, and no Sucker Punch potential for Hitmontop. Goes with the close combat low sweep. They're going to get blocked by the Protect. There is the Earthquake. Nidoking going to get blocked that off of Hitmontop. Take a little bit of damage. So Jay smartly keeping the Nidoking kicking around. You know, it does have access to high horsepower itself, which is going to be very good into Metagross or Steelix here, as long as he can, you know, keep it alive and get a move off first. Switches out, in comes the Indeedee, then gets the terrain back up. There's the low sweep. It's going to take out the Steelix. It does finally get one on the board. There's the Stomping Tantrum, take out the Indeedee, but now it does at least have the terrain back up. So you can see that Togedemaru is sashed and does have the Lightning Rod ability. Merrick's just deciding what his best option is to bring next to Metagross. It does have the Mon advantage. In comes the Nidoking, of course. Metagross is going to be faster than the Nidoking, more importantly. Both Mons trying to go on the offensive. Jay's got it. It was very much got his backs up against the wall now, though. Nidoking and him on top on some low damage, low sweep. Not going to be quite doing enough to Metagross. Does get the speed drop, though. Ironhead not quite doing enough to him on top. And thanks to speed drop, Nidoking's going to go first. And down goes Metagross. Great choice there from Jay's going to drop the speed. Low sweep doing its job. And now it is up to Togedemaru and Heatran. Then, of course, Heatran is scarfed with that eruption. Is only on a small amount of HP. This might have been where something like a Sucker Punch on Hitmontop, if there was no terrain, might have paid dividends for Jay. Meta is trying to figure out his best option here. Of course, Eruption. Not going to do the move to go forward, being on such HP, but low HP, but Heatran does have other rounds. There is the low sweep. Isn't scarfed Heatran. Ironhead not quite doing enough. And Togedemaru now down to 1% HP against Nidoking. Nidoking isn't going to be able to do enough, whereas Jay about to take this game number one and make one hell of a comeback. It was looking very, very strong in Merrick's side, but that low sweep on the Hitmontop really, really playing well into Jay's hands. Either way, it being a very, very close game one between these two. As you expect to say, they're both just trying to figure each other out. Does get the Ironhead, it does just do enough. And Merrick's with the 1% Togedemaru takes his game number one, and into game number two we go then. What a game one. These two absolutely fighting for their tournament lives right now. You know, I've got it all to play for. See Jace, Merrick switching back to the first game there. I do apologise. Just checking his moves. Oh. Inside the mind of Matrix there. Regieleki and Indeedee leading this time for Jay. We saw this lead against the Miami Heat. Matrix kicking things off this time with the Empoleon, and Togedemaru Empoleon with that air balloon then, so it's going to not be affected by ground type attacks until that balloon pops. Very dangerous place to be. Who knows what's going on in there. You leave my knees out of this. Looks to be that Merrick's going for the double down on Regieleki. As you expect, Regieleki going to maybe try and go for an Electro, where of course Togedemaru is Lightning Rod, but I don't know that that's really been revealed on Togedemaru just yet, so Jay's maybe not to know that. Indeedee, of course, could just go straight on the offensive with a spread move on Expanding Force. It's going to get some good damage away. would hope that Reggie Lecky doesn't go for a Thunderbolt here. It's not going to end very well for Jay. But great game so far between these two. As I said, all on the line at the minute to try and get themselves through the gauntlet that is losers bracket, and both in their debut season have done very, very well. You know, Merrick's with that third place, so he does go for the Electro Web, so going to proc the Lightning Rod, but does drop the speed and does some big damage on Napoleon, but it's going to proc the Defiant more importantly on Napoleon. There's the Iron Head into Reggie Lecky, not really doing too much. A Mystical Fire on the Indeedee. It's going to drop the special attack of Togedemaru, but the Defiant boosted Liquidation going to do enough to be able to take out the Reggie Lecky. And great turn there from Matrix. Said, of course, that really hadn't been revealed on Matrix's side, but it's definitely something that was always a risk. High risk sort of, well, high risk, high reward. In switches the Gallade though, next to the Indeed. You expect that to go for its Mega. Speed drop on the Empoleon going to be very important for the Gallade to be able to get a big move off here. You know, Matrix only really with, you know, something like the Klefki or the Metagross as a safe switching to attack from Gallade. Ara for that. He is a very handsome man. Back to the task in hand. Does Jay maybe even risk, you know, going for that sword stance again? We saw him go for that in game one. You know, I said if it wasn't for the bend, you've got to think that Gallade would have really been able to put in the work. But it's just very risky with that Empoleon kicking around with that 2 times attack. To be Togedemaru going for that Endeavour play then, so that could work out really well in his favour, and either way it still drops the HP very low on that Gallade if he does go in for it. Smart move choice there from Matrix. I really do like Endeavour as a move. You know, if you can sort of use it on something that's got steady or focus sash, you can really use it to your advantage. If you go, obviously, if you know you're the slow Pokemon. Follow Me comes out from the Indeedee. There is the Endeavour, so it's going to drop the HP down either way. There's the Drain Punch to take out the Togedemaru. So one down for both sides. Jay tying us up at 3 apiece. Follow Me, very smart stuff there from Indeedee. Napoleon got to go for it after going for the Protect that last time. Hope he lands something. Metagross, as you would expect, going to go for that Mega. Got to go all out with either a Meteor Mash or, you know, potentially a Zen Headbutt here if he's got it on there. Could get some big damage. Of course, both mons there going to resist, but, you know, Psychic Terrain going to give it that boost. Now comes to Follow Me. There's a Drain Punch into Empoleon. Down it goes. It does have them on advantage. Meteor Mash is going to get rid of the Indeedee. This is a 2v2. This is going to be a hell of a close finish to this game number 2 by the looks of Metagross not going for the Mega in the end there. I'm wondering if that was a little bit of a mistake as Aaron in switches into the Heat Run. Eruption, you would think, going to be the better of the options here, but may just elect to go for the Heat Wave. or potentially even Earth Power could be very good into something like the Nidoking here. Metagross got to go for the Mega this time round. Got to try and get damage off. And Scarlet looking very, very scary. He knows the Eruption didn't quite do enough last time round. He's just checking moves once again there. Again, seeing the insight into the mind of Matrix. A lot of thinking going on in this game. You can really tell it was a sort of a meeting of the minds in this one. You know, when it's all on the line, you don't want to be making any little mistakes. You know, you're forgetting a move, or you know, you've tried something in the previous game and you sort of forget. This is not where you want to be making any daft mistakes. Must be Jay just working out what his best move is. Matrix locked in there with the Eruption and Meteor Mash. Got to go all out. Try and either finish this game off, or are we going to see Jay ties up a one apiece? Metagross comes up there as the Eruption does quite a lot to Nidoking there. Meteor Mash is going to get the job done on Gallade. Nidoking goes to the Air Power. That gets rid of Heat Ram. Is now a 1v1. Metagross going to have the speed advantage though, and going to be able to take out the Nidoking here. And Matrix then going to live to fight another day in the losers bracket. And while Jay, unfortunately, there's where his run must come to an end. There's the Ice Punch to get the job done. And Matrix wins this one 2-0 then in the end. GG's to insanely close. Game 1 and Game 2. It could have went either way in both games. Yeah, you've got to be kicking yourself, you know, if it comes down that close, if you're Jay. But, you know, he's done very admirably, you know, I said, to come in at the halfway point, you know, just to, you know, just as cover essentially. And, you know, he only lost twice, you know, when coming in and got himself into playoffs. So, got to be proud of that one. But Matrix going to be able to carry on in this one and move on to losers round 2, where he's going to be playing South Croydon Saws. But our other losers round 1 game is, of course, between the Bulu Boys and the Tendo Melmetals then. So these two face off against each other in the regular season. Bulu Boys taking that one in a 2-0 fashion. The Mega Blastoise really proving to be the deciding factor in that one. Those Aura Spheres hitting very, very hard into the likes of Lucario and the Ambipom and things. So definitely going to be something playing in Kirky's mind, just sort of worried what that Blastoise is going to do. So you would think there's going to be quite a bit of coverage for that. You know, we saw Whimsicott with the Energy Ball last time these two played, managed to sort of keep Blastoise at bay. But, you know, Blastoise and Entei just seem to sort of match really well into both sides here. And you've only really got sort of Jellicent and Donphan as major answers for both of those. You know, you could potentially see the Donphan come out here just to tackle that Entei. You know, does have a decently wide move pool, does Donphan, and I said quite strong physical attack. But yeah, the Blastoise Entei, very, very strong last time. Lele as well could be quite huge here. You know, we saw last time around that the Psyshocks covered off very, you know, for that damage that Whimsicott was doing, and, you know, the spread moves there as well. Keep an eye on the Latios and things like that. You know, just an extra sort of, you know, thing in the back pocket for the Bulu Boys to bring. Kirky, is he going to bring something? You know, we saw in the last game against Chris, you know, we were hoping maybe he'd bring something separate to that main 6 that he brings. Fortunately, he didn't. It only made a difference because Jellicent, but as we said, he tends to bring a sort of variant. So is this where he switches it up with his tournament life on the line? Is he going to try and change things around just to keep himself kicking around in Tbpl playoffs? Or are we about to see the Bulu Boys move on or drop out at the same point they did last season? Said this is Kirky's first season, so no real history to base it on. But guys, let's get in this one. It is the Bulu Boys taking on the Tendo Melmetals then. So the Bulu Boys with the Blastoise, Diggersby, Entei, Persianola, Tapu Lele and Aerodactyl then. And Kirky has indeed switched it up. He's got the Lucario, Ambipom, Donphan, Whimsicott, Kecleon and Ferroseed. So we've not seen Ferroseed once all season. So very, very interesting in there. And Blastoise and Diggersby leading the line. So is it going to be the fabled choice Scarf Diggersby that we've seen in the past Got to be careful there, you know, Ambipom runs fake out. You don't want to leave yourself open for Lucario to sort of get with the tackle. Lele is going to switch in now, bring in the cyclic terrain. That's going to block any fake out that comes out. And there is the fake out blocked by the cyclic terrain. Lucario goes for the sword stance. Sorry guys, the music. Goes for the sword stance, but it's not going to matter because Aerosphere is going to get rid of that Lucario. Even the critical hit, I don't know it would have mattered, but a huge first turn there. As now in comes the Kecleon, and Kecleon and Ambipom facing down against Blastoise with that Aerosphere is very, very scary. That should be better now with the music. Apologies guys, I added some new music and forgot to turn it down. Double hit coming out from the Ambipom. Then it's going to get a little bit of damage way to the Blastoise. Psyshock going to take Kecleon right down and goes for the Aerosphere. And the Ambipom goes down, meets the sword of the Blastoise as well. Shadow Claw comes out with the Kecleons, of course, with that protein ability. It's going to give it that stab type attack. Lele just about hangs on from that Shadow Claw. Now in comes the Whimsicott. There's a 2v4. It's a very, very strong start from the Bully Boys here. And if nothing else, Kirky's got a little bit of information, but the Lele is going to go for the Protect. There's the Moonblast. Aiming for the special attack drop. Goes the Aerosphere into the Kecleon because it's Ghost type. So that's a huge mistake. Drain Punch is going to change it back to Fighting type and going to give it some of that HP back. Blastoise and Lele just about hanging on. That could be a huge, huge mistake. Luckily, it does have the Mon advantage, so not too much, not too bad of a move there, but still not ideal. That really was a Dave player pick, yeah. You don't understand the head in hands moment when I clicked and it wouldn't let me cancel it because it had already started the turn. Oh dear. But having changed his type to Fighting type, Lele now can go for potentially a Dazzling Gleam or a Moonblast here. He does go for the Moonblast. That's going to get rid of Kecleon now. Whimsicott with it all to do in the 1v4. Oh... I don't know that Whimsicott is really capable of doing that. It does go for the Moonblast. It's going to get rid of the Blastoise. Psyshock is going to take Whimsicott right down to 70% HP. There's now a 1v3, so it does at least get one kill on the board. And in switches in Entei then. Entei, you would think, going to be able to get the kill with a Heat Wave here, and that's going to get the Bully Boys the 1-0 lead. Moonblast is going to get rid of the Lele, so Whimsicott does get 2 kills. But Heatwave going to get rid of the Whimsicott, and there is confirmation of that game 1 win. So the Bully Boys starting out strong. Into game 2 we go then. So Kirky going to have to switch things up. Does lead the line with the Lucario and the Ambipom once again. This time is the Entei and the Persian Alola in the game 2. So Persian Alola is going to have that faster fake out than Ambipom. And Entei potentially going to be able to go for a Heat Wave again here. So it is a special Entei set rather than a physical one. Protect comes out from that Lucario, then expecting the Heat Wave. There's a fake out into Ambipom. Is Heat Wave going to land? It does land on the Ambipom. Is it going to do enough? No, Ambipom does manage to tank that hit. Lucario lives to fight another day thanks to that Protect. So smart stuff there from Kirky. Lucario goes for its Mega. There's the Screech from the Ambipom then. So that's the smart move there. Close Combat comes out and that takes out the Entei. Does drop its own defenses, but it's not going to matter as Charm comes out from the Persian Alola. So it's going to drop the attack on the Lucario at least. But Screech, very, very huge there. Now in switches in the Blastoise, which of course we know is the Mega Blastoise. Lucario switches out in, switches in. The Whimsicott expecting an Aerosphere. There goes the Screech on the Blastoise there. Smart stuff again from Kirky. Charm goes into the Ambipom. Great read there as the Aerosphere hits the Whimsicott. Not going to be doing all that much. Mega Launcher, of course, giving it that boost, but Whimsicott going to resist that attack. Protect comes out from the Blastoise, then Moonblast hits into the Alolan Persian. That's a huge hit there and makes a great read. The double hit, going to get the hit off, and down goes Alolan Persian. That was a 2v4. There's a complete switch around to game number 1. Screech on the Ambipom working out so well into Kirky's favour. Lele, of course, I think going to be able to at least get one down here, but Real smart stuff from Gary. Of course, that Blastoise now stuck with that half defense Moonblast. Going for the special attack drop on Lele is not going to happen. Screech can drop that attack down even further. With Psyshock is going to get rid of the Whimsicott. Aura is going to get rid of the Ambipom. So all of a sudden it's a 2v2. But Lucario and Donphan switch in, and Lucario are going to have that speed advantage over the Blastoise here. I think one close combat here should do the trick to that Blastoise. And Donphan, of course, with a high horsepower, you know how strong that stab type attack can be from Donphan. We've seen it plenty of times from Rylect in the Championship Division. There's a Meteor Mash, going to reveal the Bibiri Berry on the Lele, and the Lele is going to go down. It's not going to live that attack. Aura Sphere is going to get rid of the Aura Sphere. It makes it rid of the Lucario. It's going to make it a 1v1. The Thunderfang is going to get rid of the Blastoise thanks to that defense drop, and Kirky ties us up at 1 apiece. So into game 3 we go then. All or nothing. Loser of this one is out. Winner moves on to losers round 2 to play Aarontmarshall and his Inglorious Surfers. Kirky this time kicking these off with Donphan and Ferroseed, and Bully Boys going to Blastoise and Tapu Lele, and so gets the terrain up early does. We saw the attacking prowess of that Blastoise in this game. It can hit really hard. Ferroseed, it's going to have that Eviolite, and it's still very, very bulky, and is looking very, very stationary. I forgot that its sprite doesn't move. Oh god, it's just terrifying. Protect comes out from that Donphan, so smart stuff there, knowing the energy ball is on the Lele, stops that from hitting off in the Aura Sphere, gets some big damage to Ferroseed, goes to the Gyro Ball. Of course, Bibiri Berry is going to save that Lele and goes down to half HP. So Ferroseed going to be moving last here, and Donphan now having burned that to Protect, knows the energy ball is there for sure now. And Donphan not going to enjoy taking that, of course, doesn't get the stab boost from that grass type attack does Lele, but still it's been super effective. Yeah, this is a recording. I think Lele just going to go straight for an energy ball again. Here's Kirky. Maybe could go for a switch out even Donphan, but no, risk it. Donphan going to take the hit. Does man just hang on to the Aura Sphere. Is going to get rid of the Ferroseed, and Thunderfang not going to quite do enough to Blastoise. Blastoise, because his Mega Form is very, very bulky, going to be able to comfortably take that hit. And in switches in the Ambipom. Course now Ambipom unable to go for the for a fake out here with the terrain being up, so he's going to have to go straight on the offensive with the double hit, or can maybe go along the lines of a Screech again. Maybe that's a way back into this one if Donphan's going to be able to survive. You'd expect Donphan to go for the Protect here, which it does, of course. Going to be the slowest thing here. Double hit though is going to miss the Blastoise. That could be huge. Moonblast in the Ambipom just about hangs on. Is going to activate the Agua Berry. Aura Sphere going to get rid of the Ambipom, making the great read there. As down goes the Ambipom, and it's now a 4v2. Kirky is backs against the wall now. His tournament life depends on this now. Lucario and Donphan. There is Lucario going for his Mega. Gets the Meteor Mash. That's going to get rid of the Lele at the very least. Aura Sphere though into the Donphan is going to get rid of that. And now it is all up to the Lucario, and in switches in the Diggersby then. And this one is going to be golden. I think Lucario may be able to take at least one of these with it, but I don't think it's going to matter too much, to be honest. See there, high horsepower and Aura Sphere both angling down that Lucario, and this is going to be it for the $10 Melmetal. So two of our two debut teams in playoffs going to be saying goodbye and dropping out in 7th and 8th place. Meanwhile, Bully Boys go one step further than last season, and they're going to go on to play Aarontmarshall and his Inglorious Surfers in losers round 2. Then what a game from there. I mean, not quite as high intensity as losers, the other losers round 1 battle, but still an insane game. Diggersby gets the KO with that Choice Scarf, high horsepower, and there it is. The Bully Boys live to fight another day then. So let's take a quick look at what that means for the playoffs bracket then after that. So as you can see there was the original losers bracket. There is now the winners final set after those winners semi-finals. Miami Heat versus Space City PC. We'll see that one in a little bit. And down in losers bracket then, the Toronto 6 and $10 Melmetals knocked out. Bully Boys and Welsh Warriors going to move on to face South Croydon Saws and the and the Inglorious Surfers, respectively, for a chance to move on to losers round 3. And that's where it starts to get spicy. That's where your chance to play in grand finals really starts to begin. So, up next, guys, we have got the losers round 2 match between South Croydon Saws and Welsh Warriors. Before we get into that one, though, I'm going to take a quick little break. Be back in a couple of minutes. Alright, guys, I am back. Sorry, just having drank all that water. Unfortunately, my bladder was not holding on any longer. On to this next game, though. Losers round 2. Here we go. It is Welsh Warriors taking on the South Croydon Saws. Last time round, these two played. Crizzle did get the better of the Warriors using a brilliant strat with the Cresselia and the Mudsteel, skill swapping that stamina ability off Cresselia, getting the Carmine up, and Matrix just did not have an answer for that Cresselia once it got boosted up. It was a very, very exciting game to see, but I think Crizzle is definitely going to switch it up and not try that again. You know, you don't want to become too predictable where that is concerned, but definitely a strat that Matrix will be considering, knowing how well it worked last time round. You know, we saw Klefki had the Toxic as well on it, so he knows that he you know, the stall play on Cresselia is not going to quite work out this time. But definitely an ace in the sleeve for Crizzle. You know, we've seen Matrix every single game he seems to have this season seems to just come down to like a 1v1, like, you know, all or nothing situation. I think we're very much going to get the same here against Crizzle. It's going to be an insane battle between these two. You know, Crizzle going to want to keep the ball rolling, make that losers gauntlet once again, and you know, see if he can knock out Aarontmarshall, which is who he will potentially face in losers round 3 should he win here. Matrix, of course, will be looking to try and, you know, go one step further than his two fallen brethren, the two other debutants this season. And you know, either way, I think you've got a steel monotype team, and to get it even this far is you know, very, very admirable. So very, very solid stuff. You know, I think Keatran is a good bet in this game. Just for that spread type attacks that he's got on that field, you know, against the likes of the Bulu. If he brings a Scarf version of Heatran, it's going to be looking really good. But got to keep an eye out for that Hall Lucha, more importantly. You know, that thing gets the unburden boost. You know, we know Chris likes to lead that Hall Lucha and Bulu lead. You know, so it's just a case of stopping that thing if he's going to be able to. But and one thing we found with Matrix is he always tends to have a surprise of his own sleeve. You know, we saw against Meme earlier in the season with the scarfed Aegis Slasher of Rock Slide. You know, we've seen Empoleon with various different sets. We've seen Klefki with the Switcheroo, with the Iron Ball. You know, he's always got something up his locker, and it's what's made this team so important. But Crizzle, on the other hand, you know, he's on here in merit. You know, a top half finish, and as we said, he's going to be looking to go all out to make that losers run again. He's wanting to go one step further. I know, having spoken to him, not happy with losing 2 grand finals in a row. He's going to want to better that record and go one further this time and win the whole thing. Anyway, guys, on to this one then. It is losers round 2, South Korean Zels versus Welsh Warriors. Do want to give a shout out to Matrix again for recording this one. Let's get right in this one. I'll just turn the music down for you guys. It will be quite loud. There we go. And into this one we go as Togedemara and Metagross leading the line with the Empoleon, Klefki, Aegislash and the Skarmory in the back. Krizzle has got the Electivire and Hawlucha leading, so no Tapu Bulu as well, which is very surprising. He's got the Mudsdale, Cresselia, Flareon and the Goodra then, so I think it's the first time in a long time we've not seen Bulu paired with that Hawlucha, so it's going to be very interesting to see what sort of route he takes this, but we know Electivire does have that follow me as Mudsdale switches in for the Hawlucha, takes that fake out, is going to get the stamina boost from that, and Substitute comes out from the Metagross. There's a Flamethrower from the Electivire, so it is a special variant of the Electivire, and it's going to break that Substitute immediately, but again, good information on both sides. Matrix now knows it's a special Electivire, and Krizzle now aware of the Substitute on the Mega Metagross. There is the Super Fang into Mudsdale. It's going to proc that defense, but at least it's a smart play. There's a Sash comes out from the Electivire, and the Togedemara are going to take a big hit there from something. I'm not too sure what I think of high horsepower from that Mudsdale. Going to hit into that. Unfortunately, Matrix skipped the turn there, but Metagross and Togedemara on both on very low HP, as is Electivire. So 4 Mons all on low HP at this point. I think Electivire may go down the route of a follow me here. We've got Super Fang, should be enough to take it out. Again, great move choices there on the Togedemara, and we saw it with the Endeavour last time round against Jane. This time with the Super Fang, just the likes of the bulky mons like Mudsdale, you need to be able to hit them with something like that, just to half the damage and just to, be able to deal with them a little bit easier. Here comes the Custap right here. Going to follow me, Super Fang. It's going to mean the Electivire goes down. High horsepower is going to go into that the Metagross, and down it goes. It is now a 3v3 then. I'll try and keep you up to date with the action on this one, guys. Just fortunately, Matrix has skipped a few of the turns. We'll try and keep our eyes on what's going on. As in switches in Empoleon, and Hawlucha switches back in now. And this is not where Empoleon wants to be. Togedemara has also burned up its Custap Berry as well. Of course, no unburden on that Hawlucha, or at least it's not been procced yet, if it is running it. Matrix there, you see him hovering over the Zingzap, so potentially a very spicy attack waiting for that Hawlucha should it not take care of the Togedemara. I think Hawlucha is just faster than Togedemara. Can't be too sure of the speed stats there, but Empoleon does like to run a mix set on that. Empoleon does tend to be defiant. There's a close combat. That's going to get rid of the Empoleon, so the Hawlucha is going to take that defensive drops. Zingzap is going to get rid of Hawlucha, so does manage to trade the kill, but the Togedemara are going to go down to that high horsepower from the horse itself, the Mudsdale, and it is now a 1v2. Kriz looking strong to take this game, number 1. In comes Flareon then, and in comes Aegislash as his final mon then. And this is looking very good for Kriz to take game numero uno. Goes for the King's Shield, trying to get an attack drop. Flamethrower going to get blocked by that protect. Just maybe looking for some information as well, as there's the payback revealed on that Mudsdale. And that one is going to be game number 1 then. Matrix got to try and bring it back then to keep his tournament hopes alive. Krizzle starting as he means to go on. Flamethrower not quite doing enough to Aegislash there. Goes for the Sword stance. So it'll be interesting to reveal that, but the high horsepower gets the job done. And there is game number 1 done and dusted. I'm going to switch into game number 2 in just a second. And here we are. There's Togedemara and Metagross leading once again for Matrix. Feels confident in that one. This time Kriz leading with the Electivire and Hawlucha once again. So both sides just sticking with what they know. Not revealing anything too different. So Electivire has of course revealed that follow me, but got to be careful here knowing that fake out is on the Togedemaru. Metagross could just go straight on the offensive here, and of course with the fake out the sash is going to be broken. The stomping tantrum, sorry, is going to be enough to take it out. And I don't know that Hawlucha's got enough in it to be able to, you know, take out the Metagross. And it's a risky game hitting the Togedemaru because, you know, it's potentially going to be that steady ability. And, you know, it can just revenge kill with a Zing Zap next time round. There is the fake out into Electivire. Stomping Tantrum going to be coming up next. Close combat, not going to quite do enough. Going to drop the defenses of the Hawlucha. There is a Stomping Tantrum, and Matrix takes the Mon advantage in this game number 2 then. And in switches in the Mudstale then. Mudstale proved to be very strong in the last game for Crizzle. You know, it's got not only the stamina boost, which is, you know, it fares very well against a Metagross because of that, but, you know, it's got the high horsepower, which deals with Togedemaru and Metagross pretty handedly. You know, if it gets the stamina boost, also body press can also be used very well against Empoleon. So Chris with a few options here. He might be a Mon down, but he's not down and out just yet. Close combat not quite doing enough to Metagross. Things up is going to cleanly get rid of Hawlucha as it gets them on advantage. There's a Meteor Mash into the Mudstale. No Meteor Mash boost. There's the high horse. I was going to knock the Togedemaru down to steady. One more Meteor Mash you would think is going to do enough to Hawlucha. This one has gone very much the way of Matrix. This duo Togedemaru and Metagross have just been so strong. He's played it very smart. The fake out just stopping that follow me and just able to cleanly take out the Electivire. Custap Berry going to proc. There's his Zing Zap, gets a big damage to the Flareon. Stomping Tantrum goes out, gets rid of the Flareon. High horsepower is going to get rid of Togedemaru, but it's not going to matter. It's a 1v3 now as plays it so that Custap Berry. What a play that was from Matrix as in switches into the Aegislash then. Can go for the Shadow Sneaky and get some damage. Stomping Tantrum not going to quite do enough, but Shadow Sneak or Shadow Claw is going to do the job, and Matrix ties us up at 1 apiece then. So we have yet another Game 3 on our hands. This playoffs is just absolutely brim and full of them. And, you know, you expect nothing less when you've got, you know, the best 8 of our league going up against each other. So Matrix does now switch it up and goes for the Aegislash and Togedemaru lead. Crizzle sticks with the Electivire and the Hawlucha lead. So Crizzle well aware that fake out could be waiting for him now. Potentially, you know, Aegislash could always go for a sword stance here. I think would be a pretty safe play. Knows that Togedemaru are not going to be going down. As in switches in the Mudstale. Mudstale going to get that defense boost as it did in game 1. Close combat going to take Togedemaru down to its steady, and Aegislash gets the sword stance boost there as well. So Togedemaru going to get that Custap Berry boost. Is Chris going to remember that? Because Zing Zap's going to very cleanly take out that Hawlucha once again. It doesn't stand a chance. And Aegislash with that attack boost is looking very, very scary. There's the Custap Berry. Electivire switched in. So smart switch there from Chris. Goes to the Super Fang though instead. So Matrix making a great read. Maybe expecting the switch in there. Shadow Claw into that Mudstale as well. Does manage to just hang on thanks to stamina boost. So the Togedemaru is going to go down to the from the Electivire. And in comes the Mega Metagross then. Metagross goes for its Mega as you expect. The Aegislash goes for the Protect, trying to get an attack drop. Follow me comes out from that. There is Stomping Tantrum, doesn't quite take down the Sash, but high horsepower is going to now drop the attack of the Mudstale. And that could be quite huge in this late game then. Moving on into turn number 4. Chris still with all 4 Mons on the field, but 2 of these Mons very, very low. And of course, Metagross going to have that speed advantage. The Electivire switches out, sees a Stomping Tantrum going out. Could be a great read there. Covers it off with a Cresselia as well, potentially going for the Levitate. And there it is. Great switch out there. Hawlucha takes a big hit from that Shadow Sneak. But this could be Chris's way back into this. A great switch out there. You know, either way, you got the win. If Stomping Tantrum went into either slot, Hawlucha not going to be affected by it. Neither is Chris. Shadow Sneak may just do enough to that Hawlucha to get rid of that Or you may even go into the Cresselia with it, it's got some stab super effective damage, going to do some good stuff to the Cresselia. Fire Punch comes out, Aegislash manages to hang on to that. There is the Meteor Mash, no boost. The Shadow Ball is going to get rid of the Aegislash, and it is now a 2v4. Matrix is in a hell of a hole here. He's got very much his back against the walls. In switches in Empoleon. Knows that Hawlucha is faster. Empoleon not going to be living a close combat from that thing. Is this where Crizzle takes it? Or is the unthinkable about happening is Matrix about to make an amazing 2v4 comeback? Of course, the two of them ones in the back are on very low health for Criz, but all the same. Electivire switches in for the Hawlucha. There's a substitute from the Metagross. Sees the switch coming. The Moonlight comes out from the Cresselia. There is the Hydra Cannon. Does a huge amount of damage. Of course, Empoleon now must recharge his time, but worth it for that amount of damage. All four of Criz's Mons on lower than 30% HP. Then so this is getting quite risky for him. Of course, Electivire could just go for the following. Metagross stuck behind that substitute, but means it can at least take a Shadow Ball hit from that Cresselia. So Criz may just elect to go for the Moonlight here, just get Cresselia healed back up again. Is Electivire going to go on the offensive though? Follow Me comes out. There's the Meteor Mash. So Electivire going to take that comfortably. No attack boost, and Moonlight comes out from the Cresselia. This is a 2v3 now. He's slowly bringing it back. In comes Hawlucha. Lucha-cha. Close combat. Gets rid of the opponent as a 1v3, but also gets rid of the Hawlucha with Metagross. It is now a 1v2. Mudsdale and the Lunala versus Mega Metagross. I told you early on, Matrix just loves an all or nothing 1v1 or 1v2 here. Just tournament life on the line. Absolutely insane stuff here. There is the Meteor Mash, gets rid of the Mudsdale. The Cresselia not quite doing enough there with the Shadow Ball. It's got to go for the Meteor Mash, gets it, gets the good damage, does get the attack boost this time. Is Shadow Ball going to do enough? It's not. Metagross is going to live. It's going to mean it goes first. Metagross is about to do. Is it going to happen? He's got the 2v4. Meteor Mash gets it. Down goes Cresselia, and Matrix and his Welsh Warriors knock out our Season 2 and Season 3 finalist, Crizzle and his South Croydon Saws. They will move on to losers round 3 to take on either Inglorious Surfers or the Bulu Boys. What an absolutely insane set, boys and girls. Yeah, I couldn't put it better than Dave there. Wow. Like, what do you say? That, like, yes, okay, like the Meteor Mash boost was very much, could have happened, maybe not, maybe it would, but unbelievable. Full credit to Matrix for making that comeback there. GD's to both players. We will see Crizzle once again next season as he finishes 5th through 6th this season round. But on to our second losers round 2 game. It is the Bulu Boys taking on the Inglorious Surfaces. Inglorious Surfaces? Inglorious Surfers. You can tell my brain is starting to get a bit frazzled now. Last time round, it was week 2 these two guys played, and Aaron took that one in a 2-0 fashion. Of course, will be remembered, of course, for the Jirachi getting the Ancient Power boost twice in a row, and then a Weakness Policy boost. Of course, was to no ends, but still a very memorable moment of the season. Very, very interesting one. This one, I think Entei, despite the fact that there is that threat of rain, going to be very strong into that, Inglorious Surfers duo of Rillaboom and that Bronzong, but got to be able to take care of that Swampert and Pelipper first. We've seen Energy Ball is on that Tapu Lele, but Aaron is going to be trying to reset that terrain, get the grassy terrain up. So it's definitely going to be a bit of a terrain warfare in this one rather than a weather warfare as we're so used to whenever it comes to playing Aaron and his Glorious Surfers. But, very good last time round was the Mega Blastoise. So maybe the Bulu Boy is going to go along that line. Whether it would be enough to live a Grassy Glide from Rillaboom if it Megas, I'm not too sure. But well, we'll find out one way or another. Megastoise going to be very, very good into a lot of that Surface team all the same. Of course, Aaron could potentially go along the lines of the Trick Room if he's able to read that Aerodactyl, as a lead. Aerodactyl, is always going to want to go for Tailwind, try and get the speed control up. If he can get it up, then, that potentially makes the Bully Boys side a bit faster than Swampert would be under Swift Swim with the rain up. But a few different routes that Aaron could take. This said Trick Room is certainly one of them, just to try and combat that tailwind going up. And I think in general the Surface team is a bit slower than the Bully Boys lineup. Of course, got to be careful just in case that Pinkerton or Ordino comes running along, because Pinkerton especially very, very slow. I think one of the slowest ones in the game for sure. So, I think if Aaron doesn't see that in the line of 6, then he's going to be feeling very, very confident that he can get that Trick Room off. Either way, Bronzong then maybe free to go for the body presses and start iron defenses and start body pressing everything to death, as we are so used to it seeing it do this season. But guys, I'm going to stop rambling. Let's get into this one. It is the losers round 2, Bully Boys versus the Inglorious Surfers. Tournament life on the line for Aaron, our 2-time champion, and he's leading off with the Pikachu and Bronson, so it does look to be he's going for the Trick Room. He's got the Mega Swampert, Pelipper, Drapion, and Rillaboom in the back. Bully Boys leading things off with the Alolan Persian and the Aerodactyl with the Lele, Entei, Maractus and Blastoise in the back. And it's going to be very interesting to see if the Maractus comes, just to alleviate some of that water type damage coming from the Swampert and Pelipper. You would expect from the Alolan Persian here on that Bronzong. Just stop it from getting any sorry guys, music. I don't know why I'd set all the music on this before and it's all to pot. Anyway. Thank you though for pointing it out. But yes, fake out to stop that Bronzong from the Trick. Goes to the fake out into the Pikachu. The outcomes the Ally Switch and Taunt goes off into that Pikachu then. So, I mean, either way, it kind of works. And Pikachu, is known for running that Encore, as we saw against Crizzle earlier in the season. So, it does put a stop to that. But Bronzong now, Ally Switch has been revealed. And it's very much a high risk, high reward to sort of go for it again. And Taunt now revealed on that Aerodactyl as well. So no Tailwind going off. Ally Switch I would expect was just to sort of read for the fake out or potentially a taunt on the Alolan Persian, but there is the dual wing beat and it gets the critical hit on Pikachu down. It goes, so 1-1 down for Aaron. There comes the fake tease from Bronzong. Bronzong does go in to get a Trick Room off though, so no taunt this time round, and now Drapion switches in. Of course, Alolan Persian and the Aerodactyl are going to be much, much faster than Drapion and Bronzong. Bronzong going to be able to go for those body presses and get that super effective damage into a Alolan Persian. Crit against, I know. Maybe the stars are aligning. There is the body press that gets some good damage off to Alolan Persian, and the poison jab as well. We're going for the get to poison. Fake tears comes off from the Alolan Persian. There is the taunt from the Aerodactyls. That's going to stop Bronzong going for any iron defenses and can't go for the Trick Room again for a couple of turns. But fake tears on both ones here, but no special attackers switched in just yet. So got to make use of that those special defense drops. Try and get something down early doors here. Currently, Bully Boys do have that mon advantage, but nothing really doing as the Alolan Persian takes a big hit there, as does the Aerodactyl, reveals the Focus Sash. There's the Charm on the Drapion as well, and Rock Slide comes out from the Aerodactyl, not really doing too much. We're getting a little bit of chip damage away. Leftovers bringing some of that HP back for Bronzong. So really, Bully Boys need to try and make a switch in, or just hope for the sack. Trying to just stall out the Trick Room here, but Aaron, potentially just could be free to sort of switch something out once Trick Room ends. This is the only problem. Sort of trying to delay it that way. No protect on either Persian or Aerodactyl here, so they're going to be taking 3 hits from Drapion and Bronzong, which are of course both moving first. There is the body press to take care of Alolan Persian. Night Slash is going to take... Oh, not quite. The Aerodactyl does manage to hang on thanks to that charm. Gets the Tailwind up with Trick Room ending next turn. So, getting Speed Control Part now in, switches into the Tapu Lele you would expect. Now a Rillaboom switch in if it is in the back there for Aaron. This is potentially where the terrain warfare begins. In comes the Rillaboom, and then as we expected, it does switch up the terrain. Blastoise switching in. Not exactly what you want switching in when Rillaboom switching in. Night Slash get blocked by that Protect. Tailwind up now for 2 turns, but Rillaboom in a great position here. Of course, Grassy Glide going to get that priority thanks to the grassy terrain. Expect to Protect to come out. Lele switches out for the Aerodactyl, then Drapion switching out for the Bronzong. There is the Mega from the Blastoise. Fake Out though is going to go into the Aerodactyl. So Blastoise potentially could have got a free hit off there into Rillaboom, or even into that Drapion slot. Great reads there from Aaron once again. He's reading the game very, very well in this game. Tapu Lele going to switch and get that terrain back up for Bully Boys. Julian Beat not quite doing enough to Rillaboom. Hang on, Grassy Glide going to be enough to take out the Aerodactyl though, but Aaron has that Mon advantage now, and out in comes the Trick Room. Blastoise switching in, and Rillaboom now just going to be able to freely switch out and switch something else in and come back in later to get that terrain back up, and that's not going to be good stuff for the Blastoise. That is for sure. Drapion then switching in that slot. Protect comes out, just maybe expecting a hit from Rillaboom. Moonblast not going to quite do enough to Drapion set. Looks to be quite a bulky Drapion set, and 3 turns of Trick Room left to go. Aaron potentially now can just switch Rillaboom back in with either that Drapion slot or either the Bronzong slot, but has at least got the Iron Defense up, can start going for the body presses. So Aaron very well set up here. Has been very much a war of attrition this one, but looks to be Aaron edging it just at this point. Protect comes out from the Lele. There is the body press. Gets some decent damage off to the Blastoise. Water Pulse not quite doing enough. Drapion just about hangs on. And 2 turns left of Trick Room to go. Ally Switch comes out from the Bronzong. It's a great read there again from Aaron. There's the Night Slash. Going to do some decent damage to the Lele. Moonblast though. Going to get rid of Drapion. Is now a 2v2. But problem being is about to come Rillaboom to reset that terrain and get himself that priority Grassy Glides. And this is where it can get very scary. You're going to always expect Blastoise to go for that Protect. And if Aaron is able to read that, he can potentially just take out the Lele, and that Protect ends up being wasted on the Blastoise. A bit of mind games going on here at the end. Just trying to consider what was the best option here. I think it's going through my head was exactly what I just said, that Protect Stoys, and I didn't end up going for it, and there it is. Body press, not going to quite do enough to Lele. Lele going to be able to get the revenge on the Rillaboom with a critical hit, but Bronzong, no real super effective moves onto Lele. I think one more attack from Bronzong going to be enough for Aaron to take this game number 1. And Bronzong just getting that Trick Room up, really just turning the tide in turn number 2. There is the Moonblast. Again, resist is not going to quite do enough. The Life Orb means it's going to do some damage. Body Press gets the job done. And Aaron takes game number 1 and puts Bully Boys 1 foot in the grave. Aaron with 1 foot in the door of loses round 3 and facing off against Welsh Warriors, who he faced, of course, in round 1. Aaron this time leading with the Ranger of Pelipper and Swampert. Bully Boys with that Tapu Lele and Aerodactyl. So Aerodactyl potentially going to try and go for the tailwind. Is it going to be faster than that Swampert under the rain though? There it is. Swampert does go for the protect though. There, out comes the tailwind. Energy Ball gonna get blocked by that protect. So great read there from Aaron, and Pelipper goes for the U-turn. And that's gonna allow Rillaboom to switch in and reset that terrain then. And there it is. So Energy Ball is indeed revealed on that Tapu Lele. So it's good information for Aaron and his surfers. Knows that Swampert is, you know, at risk. 4 times weak to grass typing, of course. Does he go for another Energy Ball? Just running the risk at Lele taking a very big grassy glide here. Tailwind being up is big though. It's going to be moving faster than that Swift Swim boosted Swampert. And it switches out. In comes the Bronzong. Sees the Energy Ball potentially can fake out. Goes off into the Aerodactyl. Energy Ball not really doing much to Bronzong. Again, great reads there from Aaron making the switch in. And Persian Lola switches in for that Lele, preserves that Lele and allows it to come back in for the train later. Protect comes out from the Rillaboom. There is the taunt in a Bronzong, so no Iron Defense going off and no Trick Room either, so smart stuff there. And Alolan Persian now in, potentially going to be able to get you know, a fake out off here. Or as we saw earlier, does have access to Charm or even the Fake Tears. Charm could be very, very useful here against that Rillaboom's in, switches in the Swampert. Due Wing Beat, so Swampert's going to comfortably take that. And Charm going to drop the attack of that Swampert. Body Press though, going to start slowly chipping away at that Alolan Persian's health. Got to deal with that Bronzong before it, you know, it just causes itself a nuisance. You know, even if it's taunted, those Body Presses with it being so bulky are still going to do so much damage. Body Press, of course, you know, is measured off Mon's defensive stat rather than attack. Then in comes the Blastoise, then sees the Flip Turn coming. Great read there, and the Flip Turn not going to do too much to Blastoise, and that is going to allow the Rillaboom to switch back in. There is the Charm, so it takes the Charm for its troubles, and Body Press gets the critical hit on the Alolan Persian. How huge could that be? Alolan Persian needs to be preserved here, you would think, just to, you know, be a nuisance and get those stat drops on the likes of the Rillaboom and Bronzong here. You know, those Charms could really be huge for Blastoise to survive a grassy glide here. Of course, grassy terrain has ended though. Swampert switches in, so Aaron, seeing the importance of keeping that alive, Fake Tears comes out into the Bronzong. Is Water Pulse going to do enough? No, Bronzong just hangs on, and Alolan Persian goes down. It's another critical hit. Not that it would have mattered. I think Body Press is taken out either way there, but now got an important decision to make. Do you bring in Lele now and risk Rillaboom just resetting the terrain? No, as in comes the Aerodactyl. Yeah, it levels itself out eventually, Dave. Balance is restored to the universe. Swampert not going to get the benefit of that that Swift Swim with no rain. But of course, Aaron could just switch in the Pelipper, and there it is. Just as I'm saying it, Pelipper switches in. Tailwind goes up for the Aerodactyls. It does go first. The Dragon Balls gets the critical hit. Down goes Pelipper. Liquidation, though, is going to revenge kill the Aerodactyl, and now very much a difficult spot for the Billy Boys to be in. They know that Lele has to switch in, and Rillaboom just going to be able to either freely switch in next to Swampert or, you know, come in at a later point. There is the Rillaboom. Rillaboom's going to be slow, so it's going to allow the grassy terrain to go up first. And this is not a good position to be in, unfortunately. Tailwind is up, but of course, with Grassy Glide being that priority move, Blastoise is in a bit of a pickle unless the Lele can take care of it. Protect does come out from the Blastoise. Fake out though into the Lele with the terrain not being up. Liquidation is going to get rid of that Lele, and now it's all up to Blastoise with the terrain up. This is going to be it. The Bully Boys playoffs run in Season 4 comes to an end at the hands of Aaron and his Inglorious Surface. Aaron moves on to loses round 3 to live to fight another day. GG's to my guy Aaron, of course. It was a very, very fun set. It went a lot better than last time, I will admit. Playing around that Rillaboom was a pain in the ass. I will say. I knew I needed to take care of it, but he just kept reading me like a damn book. But yeah, had fun, and congrats to Aaron on moving on. He now gets to play, of course, Matrix and his Welsh Warriors. We'll take a quick look at the updated bracket. As you can see there, Bully Boys, Welsh Warriors, Bully Boys and South Croydon Saws out. Welsh Warriors and Inglorious Surfers going to move on to losers round 3 then. Inglorious Surfers taking on the Welsh Warriors for a second time during these playoffs. Poor Matrix must be just having Vietnam flashbacks for days, knowing how much of a trouble he had last time, but did at least take him to a game 3, so can take that to heart. And seeing what worked so well for him last time, Aegis Slash with that, that head smash. There's so much rock type weakness on Aaron's, team. If you can take care of everything around, you can get rid of the Pelipper, you can get rid of the Crobat, you can get rid of the Titanite. The Titanite that has been so strong against Matrix twice now, as well as that Mega Swampert. I feel like if he is able to work around them and take them out, then he's in a very, very strong position. But Aaron just always seems to have the upper hand when it comes to making the reads, and just has that extra edge. When Pelipper isn't missing its Hydro Pumps, then he's looking very, very strong. But when it misses, then he's in a bit of a pickle. Skarmory proved to be very, very strong in the last game, so maybe Matrix going to look to try and get the Tailwind up with Skarmory this time around. We saw how strong Tailwind and having speed control can be over this surface side. And while he can always go for Trick Room with the Bronzong, I think Matrix's side, being as slow as it is, also lends itself to Trick Room. So Aaron's got to think about that carefully if that's the sort of route he's going to take. But Bronzong again does look very good here. Those body presses, if he's able to get the Iron Defenses up, body press is going to do very big damage into a lot of Matrix's team. The Aggron, Klinkang, Steelix, for just pretty much everything apart from Klefki and Metagross and Aegislash, right? Just does not enjoy a fighting type move. They go at the dojo, they do not do well in the dojo, to put it bluntly. But Matrix, in a sense, as he said, can take heart. He took Aaron to a game 3 last time. Just got to build upon that in this game. If he's able to get that Solar Blade playoff that he made last time, or any kind of grass move, that's an in for taking out Swampert. Choice Scarf on something here could prove to be very big. I think Empoleon might get Energy Ball, I want to say. I could be wrong on that. At least gets Grass Knot. So, maybe a Choice Scarf Grass Knot is sort of the answer to that. It could be a case, for Empoleon to do that. But if he can stop the Swampert and he can stop the Titanite, I think Matrix is looking in a very, very good position here, guys. But I'm not going to ramble. You've heard me ramble funny enough tonight. Let's get into this one. I will turn down the music once we get in. Let's get into this one. It is the Welsh Warriors taking on the Inglorious Surfers. Number 2. Titanite and Hitmonlee do lead the line for Aaron, and on the other side is Aegislash and Aggron then. So Matrix with Aegislash, Aggron, Klefki, Empoleon, Togedemaru and Skarmory in the box. Again, no Heat Run, so as you would expect, really, no Heat Run. It does get Solar Beam, and you can mess around with the weather there. I think just the risk that Swampert poses and the switches in with the weather are just too much of a risk to take, and doesn't really have an answer for Pelipper when Heat Run is there. Aaron with the Swampert, Pelipper, Drapion and Bronzong in the back. Yes, do appreciate you, Ted, for recording this one, as always. What a legend. Can we just give a quick shout out to Ted and everyone else that has helped out this season in the British Pokemon League. Dogsy for his moderator help, and as well as Dave for all of his graphics help. Ted, Matrix, Aaron, Dogsy as well for all the recording work they've done while I'm busy working and, just being a busy bee. You've all made the season possible for me, and I do appreciate it more than you could ever know. So yeah, big thanks to Swampert. Switches in for the Titanite. In comes the Rock Slide, then see the Rock Slide coming for the Aggron, and the Blaze Kick comes out. Aegislash takes a critical hit for that one, but not quite enough. Aegislash goes for the Head Smash, going for that Titanite a slot, but Swampert making a great read there as Aaron, and Swampert doesn't really care too much about that. Aegislash taking a little bit of recall damage for its troubles. course, shout out to Meme as well. Did forget someone there. The most handsome man in all of Texas, Meme, for his graphical help this season as well. Very, very talented and kind guy. Do love it as Pilippa switches in. Going to allow that rain to go off his edge slash switch that in. Comes the Empoleon. Swampert goes for it to make it. Goes for the Earthquake. Now, what Empoleon would want to switch in is Aggron's going to be taken down to its steady. What has Aggron got? It's like goes for the rock side, so Swampert's going to take a big hit from that. And I mean, Pilippa takes a big hit from that. Swampert taking a little bit of chip damage on its way. But that Earthquake doing some big, big damage into Empoleon. Protect comes out from that Empoleon. Smart stuff there as Earthquake is going to get rid of the Aggron. Aggron, of course, not going to be moving quick enough. And Tailwind going to come out from that Pilippa as well, which is really huge. Now Aegislash switches in. What has this got in its lock? It's got to go for the King Shield. We expect, but Empoleon is in a little bit of a pickle now. You would think Matrix got to go for a switch out on that Empoleon, but it depends if he's got, something like the Skarmory or, Klefki in the back with a balloon to be able to handle an Earthquake. Wide Guard though comes out from Aegislash. That didn't consider that Aegislash. Wide Guard is going to block the Earthquake damage. Pilippa, of course, not affected by it, and Pilippa going to hit the Hurricane. Gets the confusion on the Empoleon. Empoleon's going to hit itself with the confusion. The RNG for Aaron stays strong once again. Great stuff there from Aaron though. Goes to the Hurricane. You've got to go for it. If you get the confusion, then then you get it. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Empoleon then unfortunately hitting itself, and Aaron with the Mon advantage still, and Swampert looking in a very, very strong position. Another couple of times of rain still to go, and Tailwind with 2 times left to go as well. So even if the rain is to end, Swampert in a pretty good spot either way. Wide Guard comes out again, just maybe expecting the Earthquake. Goes to the high horsepower. Great read there from Aaron. Had to go for it with the Wide Guard, and Hydro Pump does hit this time. Takes out the Aegislash, and now it's all up to Togedemaru. Aaron with an absolute, just putting his foot down, stamping his foot of authority on this game. Matrix with no answer to Pilippa and Swampert. The read there on Turtonator switching in just seems to have really just stalled out what Matrix wanted to do. And Aaron looking very, very strong to take this game number 1, unless Togedemaru is really going to his Hitmonlee switches in. Fake Out comes out from the Togedemaru into Swampert, but Hitmonlee, of course, just in case the Zingzap was to come, covers that off and is going to allow Pilippa to just be able to switch back in once again now. Togedemaru you would expect to be steady, maybe not the end of play, but Hitmonlee is going to go for the Fake Out. Smart stuff there, and high horsepower is going to take out the Togedemaru. Of course, that breaks the steady, and Aaron takes that game number 1 without losing a single Mon. Great stuff there from Aaron, and looks to be he is right on form. Into game number 2 we go. Hitmonlee and Bronzong leading off the line this time as Matrix switches it up with the Klefki and the Aegislash then. So Klefki not with a balloon this time. So there's potentially a screens. Klefki's Skarmory comes in, gets the Thunderwave onto Bronzong. Blaze Kick into the Skarmory. Reveals the Octoberry, so Skarmory's not going to take too much damage from that. And Iron Defense does go off for Bronzong, so Paralysis not proccing could be very, very huge there for Aaron. There is another Blaze Kick. Skarmory managing to tank that even without the Octoberry. There's a play rough from Klefki. Hitmonlee tanks that as well. Skarmory goes for the Iron Defense. Bronzong matches that, goes for its own Iron Defense, and Bronzong is just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. This is getting very scary. Klefki can't really hit the Bronzong. I'm not really too sure that Skarmory's got anything to hit it either, so Hitmonlee's going to just keep hitting Blaze Kicks, chipping away at that Skarmory's health. And eventually Bronzong's going to start hitting those body presses and just slamming its weight down on everything in its path. Great start here again from Aaron. He switches into the Pilippa, then just preserving that Hitmonlee, and out switches in the Klefki. Aggron comes in, body press comes out. Pilippa manages to resist that. Grace off at 9 defense, goes off again for Bronzong's at 4 times defense. Then so the physical attackers of Matrix's side are very much going to be stumped to take out this Bronzong then, and those body presses are going to hurt. Pilippa now going to be free to go for a Hydro Pump here, which is going to be Rain boosted Hydro Pump, but is this where Aaron's Nam flashbacks begin? Are we going to see those Hydro Pumps start missing on the side of Aaron? With Aaron's RNG the last few games, I would say no, but you never know. Agron does indeed switch out. In comes the Klefki Hydro Pump. Klefki takes that Hydro Pump. Iron Defense goes off for a Skarmory. Body Press comes out. Skarmory does manage to tank it though. So smart stuff there. Matrix just keeps the Agron kicking around. Covers off just in case the doubling came out. There's a Thunder Wave from Klefki. Body Press. Oh, probably going to resist that. It's going to proc the Citrus Berry, get some HP back. Hydro Pump does miss the Skarmory again. The Body Press, though, is going to get rid of the Skarmory. And now this could be where things get very spicy for this Bronzong to take out this team. The Hydro Pump miss, though. How huge could that be as it in swings the Aegislash then? Aegislash might be Matrix's best bet for taking out the Bronzong. You better hope that it's a special variant, because physical variant, is, unless he gets a critical hit, is going to be very scary as Hitmonlee switches in. There is a Sunny Day, stops the Ren from being up as Solar Blade comes out. That's going to take out Hitmonlee at the very least. Para does finally proc for the Bronzong, and Matrix now has ties up at one apiece. Pelipper going to reset that weather. Of course, Klefki going to be free to sort of go for that Sunny Day again if it wants. And going to force Aaron to maybe have to make the switching. Does go for the Sunny Day. Solar Blade comes out. Pelipper takes a big chunk of damage from that. A Tailwind's going to come out for that. Para procking again for the Bronzong. Is this going to be Matrix's way back in? You know, if that Swampert is kicking around in the back, it's not going to enjoy taking that Solar Blade. You just know Aaron was just hitting Body Press as hard as he could there with the Bronzong. It's just not happened. Bronzong has just stood there like, ah. I like to think that's the game just giving a bit of mercy to that side. Oh, the Swampert switches in. Aegislash switches out though. Out comes the ally switch. There is the play rough, and of course Bronzong not taking any damage from that. And that's going to allow Bronzong potentially to either switch out or, you know, switch out the Swampert and bring in the Pelipper. But I don't think he really needs to be honest. I think either way Swampert's going to be faster than the Agron, and Klefki can't really do very much to the Swampert here. Bronzong's lined up very well to take out either Klefki or Agron. Oh, that could how he must be kicking himself for that switch out. You know, if he went for the Solar Blade again. I know the ally switch play came off, but still, he wasn't to know that. But oh, huge plays there from Aaron. Taking the Taza Mega comes out from the Swampert. There is the Reflect from Klefki. Earthquake's going to land. Of course, Levitate Bronzong is not going to matter. Klefki, Sugarberry procs the Agron, does manage to hang on. There's the Endeavour play from Agron, though. Smart stuff there again from Matrix. Body Press, though, going to get rid of the Agron. And now it is a 2v3. The Endeavour play really huge. And Aegislash now the final one for Matrix. I said I don't know that he even really needs the weather up now. Protect coming out from that Swampert just in case the Leaf Blade just to go, and Matrix covering off for that weather switch in. Solar Blade because get blocked by that Protect. There's the Bulldoze then that's going to take out the Klefki. Huge play there from Aaron, not revealing that Bronzong, and it's going to drop the speed of the Aegislash as well. And now Aaron can just freely switch in that Pelipper. Aegislash, all it can really do is go for the Solar Blade or go for some kind of damaging move, and Earthquake should be enough to do damage into this Aegislash. It's of course single target. Aegislash goes down, and there ends Matrix's Season 4 playoffs run in the British Pokemon League, finishing out in 4th place. And Aaron moves on to losers finals then. Aaron just copying Chris's losers bracket gauntlet runs from the last 2 seasons. He is a man on a mission trying to make grand finals again. And yeah, GG's to both players. Aaron played that one phenomenally. You could tell that was a man possessed in that game 1. And yeah, just Matrix with absolutely no answer to it. You know, nearly brought it back in that game to us, and it thought some sort of Solar Blade play might be the route back into that game, but not quite enough. But let's take a look at the bracket then, up to now then. So, oops, Daisy. As we saw there, Welsh Warriors and Glorious Surfers went up against each other. Next up, we have got the winners final between Miami Heat and Space City PC. You pretend you didn't see that with the playoff bracket, by the way, guys. Yes, Miami taking on Space City PC. These two played each other very early on in regular season, and it was very much a case of Latvian cyberbullying, pure meme. As we said, Meme loves to go for a setup move on Tapu Fini and Charizard, and Latvian made full advantage of that with encore plays on his Lipard, just got them locked in and was just played around them and just, was able to take out all the mons around him, and then came in with the Clear Smog and the Gengar, reset the stats, and then just bullied them with the Gengar. Like we said with Lat earlier, he doesn't like to go with the same sort of lineup, and I mean, not many people do. You don't want to try the same thing again and again. It makes you become a bit predictable. But Latvian especially will always switch things up. So I would definitely expect to see a different kind of team setup than we saw earlier in the season. But I do expect Lipard and Mr. Mime, Lipard or Mr. Mime to be coming in this game just to give him that support. For the likes of your Primarine, your Gengar. Gengar does have access to that Energy Ball, Thunderbolt, which is going to be really great into that Fini and Charizard. Going to need that. Potentially take those two out. Typhlosion as well could be very, very strong here. There's quite a few mons on that Space City PC side that are not going to enjoy taking an eruption or a heat wave from that Typhlosion. So could play it smart that way for sure. If he brings the Lipard, I can't lie, it might be similar to last time, but I think it'd be hard pressed not to hit the encore button if you can see a Calm Mind or a Dragon Dance on the horizon. So maybe Meme's going to switch it up and bring the Charizard wire this time, get that weather in his favour. Of course, do run the risk of setting the weather for the Typhlosion, but either way, could be a route he takes with the Charizard. But guys, let's get into this one. It is the winners' final. The winner heads on to grand finals. We have our first grand finalist of this season. The loser will drop down to the losers' final to play Aarontmarshall and his Inglorious Surface. This is a replay game, guys, so I will do my very best to keep up with the action as it is very fast moving, and my voice is very much shot to bits right now. But let's get into this one, guys. It is the winners' final, Miami Heat Space City PC. I'll turn the music down for you guys. And Meme kicking things off with the Mienshao and the Spiritomb. Then Spiritomb we would expect to come this one. The Gengar goes for the Mega Lipard, going straight for the Snarl, going to drop the special attack of that Spiritomb just in case as the U-turn comes out. Lipard just about hanging on. Let's get our Gliscor to switch back in, and Snarl coming the other way, covers off for that Gengar in case it didn't protect. Lipard just about hanging on, and the Gliscor then going to get that toxic poison and going to allow it to heal itself up. Throat Chop goes into that slot where Gengar was, with Latvian making a great read there, and it's going to drop the special attack of Mr. Mime and Airshrew. There's the Poison Jab into Mr. Mime, just about hanging on. The Wicked Blow into that Spiritomb, going to proc that Citrus Berry, an Icy Wind going to come the way of that Gliscor and Spiritomb. Will-O-Wisp though going to land from Spiritomb. That's going to really have Airshifu's physical attack. Wicked Blow though still going to get those critical hits to get some big damage off. Dazzling Gleam going to take Spiritomb, Gliscor right down and goes to the EQ. He's going to take out Mr. Mime, but he takes out his own Spiritomb, which is, is that a mistake? I don't know. Gengar's now going to switch back in. In comes the Mienshao. Protect comes out from the Airshifu, and there's the Shadow Ball, which will get rid of Gliscor as it gives Latvian the 3v2 advantage. Knockoff not quite doing enough to Gengar, but gets that super effective damage as in comes the Fini. Shadow Ball is going to take Mienshao down to 2% HP. It just hangs on and takes out the Gengar in the process. Poison Jab is going to get rid of the Airshifu. I wonder if that was meant for the Fini, as Dazzling Gleam is going to get rid of the Airshifu, and now it's a 1v1 Lipard versus Fini. Snarl's not going to do enough, and Finny's going to be able to get this thing back with a Dazzling Gleam, and Meme then takes the lead in this one. I really think that Poison Jab was a bit of a mistake on Latvian side, but into game 2 we go. Mienshao and Spiritomb again, Lipard and Seeking this time sets up the Rain Dance. Knockoff comes off from the Seeking. That's going to knock off the Citrus Berry in this close combat. It's going to take the Lipard down to its Focus Sash, going to drop the defenses of the Mienshao, but the Snarl from the Spiritomb is going to make sure that Lipard goes down and drops the special attack on that Seeking. Not that it really matters, but in comes the Primarina then. Tapu Fini going to switch in just to making that read in case that water attack came out. Sucker Punch gets some good damage off the Seeking. The Waterfall, that boosted water attack, and Hyper Voice, of course, going to take out the Spiritomb, and that's going to give Primarina the special attack boost thanks to the Throat Sprays. In comes the Raichu. Is it the... It's not Lightning Rod Seeking. The Seeking's going to take the super effective damage there and the speed drop. Poison Jab not going to be quite doing enough to Finny, and Finny free to go for that Calm Mind, of course, Lipard down, but the critical hit from the Moonblast is going to mean it doesn't matter. Finny goes down anyway, and in switches in Mienshao in the 2v3. This is looking very familiar to the last game. But Electro Web though, going to be enough to take out Seeking, drops Primarina's speed right off its backside, And the flinch as well as Pre-Marina down to 20% HP. There's the Electro Web, take out the Pre-Marina. All of a sudden, it is a 1v2. Gengar with it all to do. Knockoff is going to... Oh, Gengar just about going for the Perish Song. Are we about to see Latvian dumped into loser's bracket? Now our first grand finalist in Space City and Meme. And there it is. Meme and the Space City PC move on to the grand finals of Season 4 playoffs. Commiserations to Latvian. I know he was beating himself up quite a bit for that one, but he is still in it to win it. It said he's got at the very least 3rd place. He can still make grand finals, but it's got it all to do, of course. Grand finals, if you come from the losers bracket, you must reset the bracket to win the whole thing, which means winning at least one best of 3 and having to win another one. So, and apart from anything, he now has the his old foe of Aarontmarshall to face. So let's take a look at that bracket, that updated bracket then, as Miami Heat drop down to the losers bracket. Grand finals is now Space City PC against Miami Heat or Space City PC then. As you can see there, Inglorious Surfers taking on Miami Heat, and we're going to get right into this one. It's going to be the last match of the night, guys. Inglorious Surfers taking on Miami Heat for a spot in grand finals. It just had to be these two, didn't it, for that spot in grand finals? You know, they had one hell of a game earlier in the season. They had one hell of a game earlier on this evening in the playoffs, and now one or the other is going to make grand finals, because both with grand final experience. Miami Heat Season 1 champions, Inglorious Surfers Season 2 and Season 3 champions. So it is very much a champions versus champions for that chance to go play Meme and his Space City PC in grand finals. And you know, again, like we said in that last game, Latvian's not likely to go for the same strat, so I'd very hard pressed to believe that he's going to go for that Perish Song strat again. But you know, seeing how well it worked last time, it depends whether Aaron is going to be set up for it. But it's going to be playing in the back of Aaron's mind either way, which is, I think, a lot of the reason why Latvian doesn't go for the same strats before, because if he sees the strat work really well against his opponent, he knows next time they play that it's going to be playing in their mind and they're going to have to prepare for it. But, you know, this is Aaron. He's just proved in the last 2 games that he is a man on fire. He's on form. He is coming for that grand final spot, whether it means life or death. Apparently, he just is not stopping for anyone. And this one ought to be a very, very special game. I don't need to do any analysis, guys. You guys know the 2 teams. You know the 2 opponents. They're going to put on one hell of a show for you. So let's get into this one then, guys. Find out our final grand finalist. It is the Inglorious Surfers taking on Miami Heat for that spot in grand finals. Then let me just get the music for you guys. And Latvian kicking things off with the Typhlosion and Lipad. Aaron with the Venomoth and the Crobat then. So Venomoth obviously does have access to Sleep Powder, Rage Powder. Crobat as well, of course, has the potential for Sleep. So, of course, no Gengar this time leading the line. So Aaron gonna breathe a sigh of relief that there's no Perish Song coming his way. Lipad goes for the Sunny Day. There's the U-turn, as that's going to allow Aaron to switch in the Pelipper, which is going to reset the weather. So smart stuff there from Aaron. Sees the Sunny Day coming. Eruption still going to do a huge amount to put Venomoth. Struggle Bug, though, going to get rid of the Lipad. Now it's going to drop the special attack of Typhlosion. So Aaron with the 1 Mon advantage in this one then. So advantage Aarontmarshall. And in switches in the Gengar. Is he going to do it to him again? Is he going to go for the Perish Song? I would think not, knowing that Typhlosion is sat there next to it. You know, Pelipper's going to eat that thing up for breakfast. It's going to gobble it whole with any kind of water attack. So, you know, definitely something to be careful of here. I think Latvian's going to try and switch out the Typhlosion then just to preserve it. But is Venomoth going to be going for a Sleep Powder then? That might be a way to stop the Perish Song coming his way if it does. There is the Eruption. It's going to get rid of the Venomoth though. Even with the special attack drop. Shadow Ball gets the critical hit on the Pelipper. Pelipper's set Raspberry. Pelipper just about hangs on. Scald's going to get rid of the Typhlosion though. And it is now a 2v3. So Latvian with Gengar and his Urshifu with it all to do against Swampert and Pelipper. So Pelipper's Rain going to allow that Swampert to get that Swift Swim. And Swampert in a very, very good position against that Mega Gengar. I know Mega Gengar does have Energy Ball, and we've seen Urshifu has Thunder Punch as well, so it's definitely not over. It's definitely not over till the Fat Lady sings, but, you know, it's very difficult to call at this point. There is the Mega. Protect comes out from the Gengar. There's the Muddy Water. Goes for the special attacking Swampert. Again, it doesn't quite break the Slash. Wicked Blow doesn't quite do enough. Hurricane's, of course, going to land. It's going to reveal the Cobra Berry, more importantly. So no Sash. And Eshu goes down now as a 1v3. And this is looking very good for Aaron to take the lead in this one and get 1 foot in Grand Finals for a 3rd season in a row. Latvian will be kicking himself with that one. Shadow Ball is going to get rid of Pelipper, but Air Power going to get the job done. Swampert takes the kill, and Aaron takes the lead into game number 2 then. So this is a lot faster paced than the previous meeting between these two. These went going absolutely all out, and Aaron, again, sticking with his leads of Venomoth, Crobat, Latvian this time, switching things up with Urshifu and the Mega Gengar then. So Aaron now stuck in Venomoth and Crobat if Latvian goes for the Mega. But I said Venomoth may choose to go down the sleep route, put that Gengar to sleep, and then can go for any protects. Very interested to see how these two play each other. There's the Gengar, goes for his Mega Dual Wing Beat. Gonna proc that Cobra, gets the second hit. Urshifu does manage to hang on, gets the critical hit as well. And there's the Icy Winds to drop the speed of Crobat and Venomoth, more importantly. Wicked Blow, gonna get rid of that Crobat. So first blood to Latvian. Sleep Powder, though, does come off on the Mega Gengar. So Aaron with a Mon down, but maybe not so much minding that. Is going to be allowing to bring in either the Pelipper or the Swampert. There is the Pelipper, sets up the rain. Gengar stays asleep. Thunder Punch is going to get rid of the Pelipper. So it is Thunder Punch on there again. It is now a 4v2. A 4v3, sorry. No, it is 4v2. Swampert switches in. U-turn from that Venomoth allows it to switch back in. Swampert now going to make use of that weather. Gengar, you've got to think, is just waiting in the wings with an energy ball while staying asleep. Aaron against the wall here. We're about to see another game 3 between these two. He really needs Gengar to wake up this turn, I think, if he's going to have a chance of bringing this back. But switches it out. In comes the Lipard then. So this Detect comes out from the Urshifu. Muddy Water from the Swampert. It's going to take Lipard down to its Sash. There is the Struggle Bug, which is going to get rid of the Lipard. And that's going to mean that now Latvian is free to potentially bring in that Gengar or whatever else is in the back. And Gengar does indeed switch back in. But that's going to reset its sleep timer, switching it out, which is, I don't know if that was a mistake. If Gengar stays asleep, there's the Muddy Water. Does miss the Gengar, but takes out the Urshifu, and Aaron has just tied us up. He gets the critical hit Struggle Bug, so drop the special attack on the Gengar, which could be really huge this late game. In comes Typhlosion. Not going to be where this thing wants to be in the rain. I think even an Eruption here wouldn't quite be enough to take out the Venomoth, or would it? As the Flamethrower, it is. It gets the critical hit on the Venomoth. Gengar stays asleep. There's the Muddy Water. Gets rid of Typhlosion. Gengar just about hangs on. Is it going to wake up? If it wakes up, then potentially this is going to a game 3. If not, then Swampert is going to take it out. He wakes up, but Energy Ball not quite doing enough. Special attack drop matters, and the Air Power is going to do it. And Aarontmarshall is your second grand finalist. Latvian, my boy, goes out. He bows out a 3rd place, but Aarontmarshall makes grand finals for a 3rd season in a row. He is aiming to get that 3-peat. He is looking for it. He wants it. And here you can see the final playoffs bracket for Season 4 of the British Pokemon League. Space City PC taking on Inglorious Surfers. Now, normally we would have these grand finals at the end of the playoff show, but unfortunately Meme is unavailable to play tonight. So we will be hosting grand finals on Monday. That's right, Monday evening, which will be Monday the 23rd, here on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/British Pokemon League. Keep an eye on our socials to find out exactly the time that will be going live, but you'll see Space City PC and Glorious Surfers do battle to see who will become our Season 4 champion. I will be able to see the first New Blood win the title the first time since Season 1, or is Aaron about to get a 3rd title in a row? But guys, that is going to do it from me, your host, Matt Starr. I really hope you've enjoyed this stream. It was very, very fun to put together, and it has been a hell of a season, a crazy season, once again, as expected. And I hope you're looking forward to Monday as much as I am. But that is going to do it from me, your host, Matt Starr. I will see you on Monday. Goodbye and good night. Mwah.